Ready? I need a motion to call the town board business workshop agenda meeting to get to order, February 14th, 2013. Happy Valentine's Day to all of you. Thank you. You can all have candy. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
A moment of silence for the military serving in this country and out of this country. Thank you. Emergency exits are on your left and the back, our right. Roll call, please. Are you ready?
Yeah. Councilwoman Rayner? Here. Councilwoman Brody? Here. Supervisor Flood?
Here.
Councilman Haas?
Here.
And Councilwoman Doyle?
Yes.
Public comments, please. Is there anybody who need no sign-up sheet? Oh, Mike?
You don't have to sign in sheet.
So, Mr. Warren, you can go first if you'd like.
Thank you.
Who made that motion?
You did.
I did. And CJ seconded it.
Thank you.
It's good to see Mike here. Tom Warner. I'm one of the commissioners for Recreation. And the Recreation would like to request to the town board that you start the background checks that's required by law. We haven't had it authorized yet, but I hope that it will be tonight. And it would be appropriate if we started with the commissioners and then came down to the coaches and so on and so forth. That's all that I had to say. Thank you.
Is the commission going to pay for it?
Are you going to pay for yours?
You mean you want the board to have it done?
Beg pardon?
The town board, as you're saying, or you, the commission?
I was asking the town to pay for it, which it should be. That's what you said
Well,
at the last
I understand,
meeting.
from my understanding from the state of New York, at this point, the comptroller's office is, it's a little bit of a gray area, that they are asking all coaches, all personnel, all volunteers to be done.
That's correct.
So at this point, we'll have to find out what it's going to cost. You know, obviously,
I think you estimated it at $5,000.
I don't think, I don't know. It depends, I don't know. It depends. I think the sheriff is cheaper than this. I know Mary, I think, was going to call somebody, but I don't know if that call went out yet, or they're waiting for some prices. One quote, I think, was $75 a person.
96. wasn't it?
That's what it is?
Even for us. We
Right.
didn't meet the deadline.
Right.
That's the normal rate. And there's an outside agency that you can use right in Poughkeepsie, right off Market Street, that you can have everyone
Correct.
go to.
Yeah. But we'll have to have a list of all your coaches, all your volunteers, and so on and so forth.
It was in the sheet that they sent out, it was pretty plain what they wanted.
Yeah.
And I realize that it's expensive, but you couldn't ask a man that's already given his time to pay another $100 out of his pocket.
Yo.
But we need it now, not a year later. We've been remiss over the years.
Give us a list of people.
Okay.
Is Mary in charge of following through with that?
Well, yeah,
or
she
is
just,
that-
she was checking up with it, because we got you got the email, you got the comptroller's report. I think that we sent it to the board. I don't know if you looked at it or not, but some of these towns are getting written up because they don't have
Oh, the stuff on file.
the stuff on file.
Right, which we have to have that on file.
Right.
I was just thinking.
It's actually, they broadened it out a little bit. I talked to the insurance company doesn't require it. Only the head of the, what's it, the summer program, or the summer program, is that what it's called? Rec director.
Summer camp director.
That was it.
Right, it used to be that we only did a few who are directly
One.
involved.
Just her.
Oh,
But,
so I did one online, and I can find out that service, and it was only $35 for a national organization. Required me to do it for a background check, and it was very easy and quick. And you submit your information online, your social security, blah blah blah, and they come back with a clean bill. Now it's different levels, but I'll forward that information to Mary if she's the one. If you
Right.
can do this cheaper
well,
online.
Mary and Christine, I would assume, will have to work on that. So. Any other public, oh, Mike?
Michael Kelsey, County Legislator. A couple things to report. In the end of January, we had a special meeting focused just on redistricting, and we did adopt a map. District 25, which is this district, will include the entire town of Amenia, which will be whole, and include the town of Washington, the village of Millbrook, and eastern Pleasant Valley. So the main difference is it will lose a portion of Stanford next year, and Pleasant Valley was northern Pleasant Valley, now it's eastern. It makes it more compact. It's still 25 seats in the whole county, and so that map will go forward, started with the November election. Other news to report is we're starting to look at bonds. There are 2 bonds that are under discussion, and then 2 small bonds. So let me talk about the big ones first. The first bond is for $1.1 million. It is a parks bond focused exclusively on the Renegade Stadium. The Renegade Stadium, as you may recall, was built 20 years ago. The land is owned by the Beacon School District. The stadium is owned by the county as a park, and then the Renegades is a business that contracts, and they have about 4 more years on their contract. The state of the stadium was built 20 years ago quickly, and as a result of that, it was built on a swamp. The AstroTurf, where the players play on it, has drainage issues when it rains, and a lot of games have been canceled. It also precludes the stadium from being used other seasons, specifically spring, when it tends to be more rainy. So the bond is looking at replacing the AstroTurf. It's also looking at building up the stadium as far as electrical goes, and a couple of renovations. Rockland County now has a stadium. A good portion of the revenues over the years have come from Rockland. Now we're competing with another minor leagues team. So that's the first bond. We discussed it this month. Be discussed again in March and probably voted on then. The second bond that we're considering is in the amount of $960,000. It's for an ECM program, which stands for Enterprise Content Management System. And what that does is that is a online record keeping device that will allow departments to integrate everything from contracts coming into the various departments to human resources. It's just really improving our technology. It'll have cost savings. One function of it as well is it's going to help records to go online. Several years back, Real Property put parcel access online, where you can go on, look up your address, look up somebody else's address, whatever, and all the information's right there from your home. You don't need to go into the county office. It'll do the same thing from everything from all sorts of historical records, business records that are able to be online. So it has a lot of advantages, and so we got a presentation on that, and that'll come forward again next month. The 2 smaller bonds both relate to Dutchess Community College. One of them ended up being passed. The other one was pulled due to lack of support, and it was controversial. There was a lot of discussion. We had the college out, over 2 hours of more questioning than really debate, both dealing with the dormitories as well as this bond. That bond, the controversial one, was the college was seeking to buy a house across the street, and they wanted to knock it down and expand parking. It went into the dormitory issue because with the dorms, you have more students, their enrollment is up. About a little over 80% of the dorms are out-of-county students, and of course that's increasing the need for parking. In addition to that area of growth, the other issue dealing with this property was they were seeking a bond of $300,000. Of that, half would come from the county, the other half would come from the state. The property does not seem worth $300,000. Real estate markups makes it a lot less, and we looked, as a county legislators, we looked at it and said we don't really think there's the need, and as I said, that was pulled. The second resolution or bond issue dealing with the community college is amount of about $260,000 would be the county share, and that was to do two things. One, fund a master plan for the next 5 years, and second, which they need, required by the state, SUNY system, and the second is to upgrade electrical items at Dutchess Hall. That passed with one nay vote, and that nay vote was me. The reason I voted was we, as a county, have been tightening our belt. We've taken money away from the towns, through sales tax. And from my standpoint, Dutchess Community College has a very good budget. They have $12 million in their fund balance, and I personally felt that taxpayers should not be paying for bonding for this, whether county or state, when they have the money sitting there, they could do it themselves. So that did pass, but I voiced my opposition. Going forward, the solid waste management plan is out there. There's a public hearing the end of this month. I think it's the 27th at the Farm and Home Center in Millbrook, and I'll have more to report on that next month. And then also there's a press conference next Wednesday to focus on the Heritage Days activities. And as you know, I'm the main sponsor of that Heritage Days program coming up. This is our 300th anniversary as a county of elected leadership. So that's all I got, unless there's questions on any county issues. Yep, go ahead.
I never realized that Dutchess Community College was 86% of out-of-county students.
Not total of the dorms. Those
dorms?
staying in the dorms. Yeah, it's not a majority of it's still serving. The majority that are getting served at the college are in county. The issue with that is the dorms are now when it was proposed to be built, it was saying it was going to be for students that are in the outer parts of the county that rather than commuting, they would want to live on campus. And instead, that has not materialized. It's students that are from other counties that are coming. Now, the reason they're coming, I mean, I certainly would say the education is good, but it's the problem. I would say it's a problem. They would say it's a good point. Is the tuition is the lowest in the state, and it's considerably lower than all the other counties. And so people are saying, "Hey, let's go here." The benefit, well, the downside as a legislator looking at that is now we have more wear and tear. We're growing. We need to build more parking, more classrooms, and for the next 5 years, the college proposes spending $71 million in bonds that we would bond for taxpayers in improvements to their buildings. And for me, that's growth is going too far that we're going to be paying for, that we need to basically look at who we're bringing in. The reason they want out-of-county students and are marketing to them is they can charge more in tuition for out-of-county students. And community college, the way it's set up by the state, is meant to serve your community, Dutchess County for Dutchess Community College. If somebody from Dutchess doesn't go to Dutchess and goes elsewhere, for instance, Red Hook has a lot of kids that go to Columbia Green, it's closer. We as a county government have to pay a subsidy to Columbia Green because as like a penalty that our students aren't going to Dutchess. And we spend a lot to Columbia Green. We also spend a lot to the FIT, Fashion Institute of Technology, down in New York City, which is a community college, because they have a good fashion program. Instead, and we've asked the Board of Trustees of the community college to build a fashion program, build a satellite campus up in Red Hook, so we can keep our money home. December, we as a legislature voted $81,000 to go to these other schools. So the county loses money when our students go to other schools. Flip side, when kids from other counties come to Dutchess, and a lot of them do come from Ulster, Westchester, Putnam, their county governments pay Dutchess. They don't pay the county government, they pay Dutchess Community College. So in college, it's a win-win standpoint. You get higher tuition, and you get the subsidies from the county governments. The thing is, the growth comes, and we taxpayers in Dutchess County pay for the costs of growth, and we don't get that revenue coming in. It goes to the community college, and we pay when our kids go to other schools. So, a lot of big issues, but it is something that I've been asking them to address, and so far the Board of Trustees says, don't care about the taxpayers. They care about building their fund balance, which, as I said, is $12 million. The dorms have cost so far $30 million. I'm hearing now it's up to $33 million, the cost for that, which is also we end up paying for.
Is it also true they want to go to a four-year school?
There's rumors. I haven't heard anything substantiated about that yet. There's rumors about it, though. So they also have an association which got the bonds for the dorms. They have a balance of $7 million, and most of that goes for scholarships. But the college is in a good financial position, and that's good. We want that. My concern is, as a county government and as local governments, we've been tightening our belts. We've been saying no on a lot of building projects, and I think the college needs to do the same. These two bonds we had this month are very small, but when you look at 5 years, you're looking at $71 million that they're looking at us to pay for.
We have a facility in Wausau that you could use.
Don't believe me, I've actually in the paper last week saying they should build a campus in Amenia. I've been saying regularly that they need to
great
stretch
facility.
out.
It's for sale.
Well, I'll pass the word. Deaf ears, but still.
Okay.
Anything else?
Thanks.
Great, thank you. I'm off to Stanford. Thank you.
Thank you.
Stan?
Well, we've been pretty busy the last couple of weeks with the big storm and all these little storms. All these little storms cost us a lot of money. Even the black ice, we got to go out and sand overtime. So it really hasn't been an easy winter. Today we cleaned the streets up finally.
Yeah, thanks for that. They look great.
First we get the culvert pipes open and the bridges open, then we do the streets. And we got to protect our roads first. I gave everybody a copy of this for the new highway garage. I know CJ said that he hasn't had a chance to look at it yet, so maybe next week we can maybe discuss this. Because I think this...
Did you get a copy of the report? Did we get a copy of that?
Yep.
I don't have it.
I think I've got an
We must
extra
have
copy.
John.
So I have yours
Huh? You have mine?
from...
John, yeah.
I think I printed it out too.
No, Kiki gave me those.
Your town hall emergency generator, capital
I
maintenance.
think that was a bill that was one time, so that is...
Yeah, it's more.
I'm putting in your mailboxes too.
It is.
I'm just going to read a letter. We had John Fenton go and inspect the highway garage the other day, because I spoke to Stan a week or so ago and said the roof was leaking. Dear town board members, at the request of the town supervisor and the town's highway superintendent, I performed inspection at the highway garage on Tuesday, February 12, 2013. During my inspection, I noticed 6 conditions that could be a safety threat to the highway employees. Below are the conditions. 1, the roof leaks with 2 sections that have separated from the perimeter walls. You can visibly see through to the exterior, unsure of the roof structural capability, especially if there was an extreme snow load on top of it. The floor is poured concrete slab that has severe stress cracks and is unstable. Various locations appear to be free-floating with no stability. When live loads are present on the floor, will move, allowing groundwater to enter through holes and cracks. Unsure of its load-bearing values. The perimeter walls are made of concrete block and mortar. The walls are approximately 50 to 60 courses high. The bottom 2 courses around the overhead doors are severely water damaged. Extensive damage to these core blocks poses a threat to the structural support of the exterior load-bearing walls. The water damage due to the building not having any stormwater control. The joints between the blocks are missing grout, especially around the building windows. The unstableness of the building is causing stress cracks in the wall joints, which loosen the grout. Unsure if the walls have any vertical reinforcement. The building's electrical system is outdated, does not have any GFI receptacles, especially around the water source, sink, shower. I would recommend an electrical survey from a third-party New York State certified underwriter. The shower was installed in a dangerous location. It locks the toilet's privacy door, and it was also installed next to an electrical control panel for the building's security alarm system. The shower does not have a shower head and is not located above the floor drain. The building has no stormwater control. There are no roof gutters, downspouts, or catch basins. The soil around the building is pitched inwards, causing stormwater to pool puddle around the base of the building. The water accumulation is the main reason why the concrete blocks are deteriorating. The present exterior ground conditions are hazardous due to ice buildup. If you have any questions regarding this report, please contact me, John Fenton. From what I understand, about 20 feet of the building is coming up, the wall and roof are separating.
Yes.
We did have the roof.
Hey, look right up there, you can see daylight.
You can see daylight. So there are some structural issues with this building at this point. So we're going to have to deal with some things here.
It's not getting any better.
No.
Was that building, when was that built, and was it engineered, or you don't know?
Byron Barnes and the insurance lady was down, I think Tuesday. She asked how old the building was, and Byron Barnes says 150 years old. Then he laughed.
When did they make cement blocks?
It's pretty old. It's pretty old.
It's not 150.
I'm gonna have to go see Ron. Ron probably should know when it was built.
You might. I bet probably in the 20s.
Yeah, the aerial photos go back quite a ways, right?
Yes.
Have you been up to see that building, the company that did the one up the road that you mentioned?
I haven't been in it, but I've been around it. And there's two down in Wingdale that I looked at. And, it looks excellent. Excellent. He's willing to come in to talk to the board.
I think that would be a good idea. I mean, I read the brochure, but we can talk more about it later.
You give me a date and a time, I can see if I can get him here. He prefers during the day, not
Right.
at night, because he comes from Pennsylvania,
Oh,
like 4 hours
He's quite
away.
good. My husband has done a very big project with them, and they were by far the best price and by far the best quality. However, he cautioned that they originally thought they didn't have to go to a stamped engineer's plan, and the cost increased when they did. They thought by ag and markets they would be exempt from it, but the town required engineered plans, and that added significantly to their original estimate. So I would suggest if he comes up that he also include these footings and the cost of adding that portion to it to dig through the tree
be
trunks.
realistic.
And give us yeah. And I would guess that you're expecting them to finish out the inside of the building as well. Are you
Yeah, I believe
thinking
so.
this- Yeah. You were gonna prepare the site, it looked like.
Right.
Yeah.
But I would think that we have to come up with some kind of specs, right, for this thing. It has to
He
be
has
bid.
it.
Oh, I'm sure
I
they
think
have
he's
specs.
drawn them up.
Huh?
They have specs.
Right, but we still have to bid it.
Oh, yeah, you
Right.
still have to go for a
So we still have to, we have to.
Oh, I see.
Right.
Right.
So-
But they're doing a lot of the work up front by,
Correct, which is gonna save a lot of money.
Right.
yeah,
There's no question.
figure out the specs to bid out. By far, they were the cheapest for another barn, so
There was prevailing wages also included.
it's a good.
But we have to have engineered drawings, there's no.
Right.
Yeah,
He won't give us a
absolutely.
permit. You know how the building
No, I
department
agree.
works here.
I agree.
But you give me a day and a time, I can see if I can get him here.
Next week would be nice in between, so we can, yeah. I think the sooner the better, so we can start thinking about it.
Yeah, I'd like
What's
to do
available,
it.
what's good for you? I'm here.
Oh, it's good for me anytime. But
Anytime is
it'd
fine.
be good. I'd like to have everybody here.
CJ, you're the one that's gonna be, and Vicky.
I think next week
I'm only available early on Monday. I'm out the rest of the week.
Sorry, we should also look into actually redoing the site itself. I mean, the stormwater, there's no control at all. So what's happening is eventually we'll probably have the same problem if we don't take a good look at that. And then the waste, the fluids coming off the vehicles, there has to be some type of self-containment. So we're not going to be able to just put this garage back on just a slab. So there's some, and I don't know what kind of figures we're talking now, but you have to get somebody out there to take a good look at stormwater control and waste fluids inside the garage. So that's going to be an expense.
That's something Pete can do? Pete can, yeah. So you want to talk to him? It's got to be regraded anyway.
Right.
Right, so, and I saw in the picture, there's a big apron in the front of this thing also, right, so.
And the road's been re-blacktopped a few times. And
Right.
when they built the building, it was probably dirt road.
So Monday, CJ?
I can only do Monday before noon.
And
And I'm
be
out
at
the rest of the
Association
week.
of Towns for the first 2 days, 18th and 19th. You're only available on Monday?
Yeah, I'm out of town the rest of the week. But I'm open the following week.
Could we not meet an hour or two before town board meeting, so it's all
It's
lumped
going to take
together?
longer than that. It'll take a couple hours.
You want to meet down at the site, or?
Well, probably here.
Yeah, here.
So the following week, what do you have open the following week then?
I can Monday, Wednesday,
We have
Thursday.
a wastewater meeting on the 25th at 5.
It's at 5.
Yeah. Sorry, what was the other day?
Monday,
he wanna
Wednesday,
meet
Thursday. But
early?
he's going to want to meet during
What
the
time did
day.
he want to meet?
Oh,
He
okay.
didn't really give me a time.
I'll have to
All
drive
right,
back
so
to
the
Pennsylvania.
25th would work for me.
In the morning. He wants to meet in the morning.
That's fine.
The
Yeah.
25th?
Okay.
What time?
7?
8 o'clock?
7, 8
Oh,
o'clock?
let's do it. Like, he's coming from Pennsylvania, so.
Well,
Yeah, that's right. 10. It doesn't matter to me. I
It'd
can
probably
ride
take
right-
him
I
about
can ride
3
over here.
hours, I would imagine.
Unless he comes up the night before.
Coming from Lancaster, Pennsylvania, it's about a 4-hour ride.
Yeah.
But he'll leave at 2 in the morning, he doesn't care. He'll get here.
You want to do it like 9 o'clock?
Okay.
Sure.
Does that work?
Yeah,
for everybody?
yeah.
What day now?
25th.
25th.
9 o'clock. Okay, I'll give him a call tomorrow, see if we get him up here. That's all I have. Any questions?
Should we give him an alternative date, or in case he can't come on that date, or no?
Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
I'm flexible all that week.
Yeah.
I mean, at 9 o'clock in the morning, it doesn't matter to me.
Okay.
Week of the 25th.
The 20th.
On the 25th? Monday the 25th.
Right.
Okay.
I also have money in the budget for a trailer, equipment trailer. I want to start looking for that pretty quick, so I'm going to be out getting some price quotes. We'll be needing that roller pretty quick. We need the trailer mainly for the roller. We can't drive the roller up and down the road. It's not made for that. It takes too long.
With the building that we're designing, everything can go inside? All the trucks?
Yeah,
Can
pretty
be
much.
washed?
Yep.
And so on and so forth, so that'll
It'll be a wash bay.
right? So we need to do some specs, right, so we get this thing done and done right the first time,
Right,
You're looking at radiant heat.
right.
right? We have a septic and water, that we're covered.
See, we have the septic, we have the water, we have the electric, we
Right.
have the fuel storage shed. So
Okay.
we just don't have the highway garage.
Okay.
I went through all of our equipment. We got like $1,300,000 worth of equipment there. And it's not being stored properly.
Right, the money we spend on the trucks and the equipment, it's gotta be stored, there's no question. I did talk to the bank. We can borrow money at, long-term 3%, bands, 5-year band is at 1.1%, which is renewed every year. So it's doable. The loader's paid for this year, or the loader or the bridge, one of them.
The bridge is paid for this
The
year.
bridge is paid for this year, and the loader's paid for
Next year,
next year.
so
So,
22,000.
right, so we have about 50,000 we can play with, roughly. So it can work, it works, without raising any taxes.
What's the cost or the estimated costs? for the
Well,
building?
we're figuring somewhere around 600, that's what I figured, give or
Big-
take.
big-
I
Closer
think
to
600 is
800,
high.
Huh? I think 600 is
600
high. Yeah.
I was thinking 500, but
Well, that's better, but I was
550,
thinking
yeah.
worst case. 400 is better.
everybody else was 850, a million point two.
Million, absolutely, but you have to deal with your OSHA standards, so I don't know how we're gonna do it any cheaper than the other towns around here have produced a highway garage. Are we smaller than what Stamford spent $2 million on a highway garage?
We don't have to be that fancy. We just
Good.
want a garage.
Yeah. I'm just,
Well, it depends what you build.
right, but it
Well, they
has to
build-
be to
they
OSHA
build.
standards, right? So it's
Well,
gotta.
it has to be
have-
the requirements.
Right. It's gonna be a much different building than what you have now, right?
The one we have doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. No.
There's no question.
No.
But, you know, we gotta run some, the numbers gotta work, there's no question.
Yeah.
So, all right,
No, we need to
Okay.
do-
thanks. John, you wanna do yours? Get you out of here.
Good evening. I apologize for the late monthly report. This is our report for the month of January. My department issued 3 permits. We reviewed, approved, and issued them, collecting revenue of $2,900. We also performed 4 municipal searches with the revenue collection of $300, and we performed 3 fire inspections with a revenue collection of $275, with a total of $3,475 for the month of January. We're about $1,500 ahead of last year's numbers. I also performed 44 field inspections to date. In the future, I'll be able to get a monthly report to the board on the last meeting of the month. All right. Other than that, everybody received the inspection report for the highway garage. And all the board members should have received an email about a property maintenance section. At this point, I'm really just sending it out. I'm going to get together with Ian. I think I need to modify it a little bit better with respect to penalties and the town's involvement on cleanup. So I'll get together with Ian on that one. But for now, everybody, if you don't have it, let me know and I'll send it. Okay?
Okay.
That's it.
John. Thanks, John.
All right.
Town clerk.
First, I'd like to start off by saying Happy Valentine's to everyone. It's a very special holiday. First, on my list. The town clerk's office has collected 31% of our taxes. We've collected $1,289,816. The town clerk's office is also in receipt of a building use form. I come back to you this month. This time I have a Miss Jeannie Henningsing. She's looking to see if we are able to waive the fees and the insurance requirements for the building use. Janine is a certified health coach, and she's looking to present to the different, there's 4 different classes, free lectures, sugar blues, women's health classes, eating for energy, and a way less, live more. She's looking to use the auditorium. These are free to the community. She's also.
Giving out candy.
Well, that was not. She is a resident here in town, and like she spoke to the supervisor and I briefly yesterday, and is just looking to try to get some more classes offered here in the town in health awareness. She is a member, a brand new member to the
Cooperative Extension.
Right, Cooperative Extension, the health part of the Nutrition Advisory Committee. And she went to her first meeting this week, and she's looking and is very eager and excited to representing this part of Dutchess County. So she'd like to bring some of those classes and bring them here and present here.
What's her time frames that she's looking for?
The first one that she was looking for was Saturday, March 16th, from 6 to 8 p.m. After we had discussed a daytime, we realized that the auditorium was booked with other activities. March was very busy. She'd like to get started, and then she says 2 weeks later, then she would go, try to start with the women's class. She did like the auditorium because she does not want to have more than 20, 25 individuals come, make it more personal. And then in the back of the auditorium, there's that space where she can meet for the women's part of it. So the idea was to have the women bring a pillow or a blanket, and they can sit in a circle and do a round table.
What are the other dates?
She did not pick the dates until the board would give her the okay. And then she was kind of looking whether it's 2 weeks apart or maybe one for the next 4 months. But she wanted to first see how the board supported the program, and if she had the space, then she would go ahead and commit to the dates. I do have the sample flyers I have here for everyone, but until she knew the dates, if you want to take one and pass it around. She's been a health coach for years. She's just talking about what she does.
Are they going to have snacks? 16. Healthy, I'm sure.
She actually educated us on how to make yogurt cheese. And today she was kind enough to bring it in with the Dannon yogurt, how you spread it through the cheesecloth or your strainer, and you separate the wheat from the yogurt, and it was very tasty. And she explained to me how it's only 15 calories versus the normal 65 calories or 95 calories compared to cream cheese and the other spreads. And so it was actually very tasteful.
I'd like to make a motion that we move forward with this.
I would second that. I think it's
It's a great idea.
I think it's a great idea. Yeah.
And waive the fee and the insurance
We'll get
requirement.
free candy.
Yeah.
Also, I presented via email to all the board members. I sent out the minutes for January 3rd.
We need to
10th.
vote on that.
Oh, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone
Yes.
opposed? Minutes for January 3rd, 10th, 14th, 21st, 24th, 31st, and February 6th.
I'll make a motion that we approve those minutes. They look fine to me.
Second.
Roll call, please.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Yesterday, we had an ad for open positions. We have received 2 applications for the rec commission seat that will be open in March. I have not received any applications for ZBA enhancement or workforce housing. And we've advertised since the end of last year through the beginning of this year. So I don't know how you, I know ZBA, you have an open seat, and that's a board, so that, and the others are committees. So I don't know how you'd like to proceed.
In the rec department, we had 2 other people that missed the time.
Yes, I had received 2 additional inquiries, and they've obtained the applications, but no one else has turned them in. So I didn't know what you wanted to do to proceed.
So who do we have for the rec commission seats?
I have Rick Lonju and Tom Warner have both submitted applications. Mr. Warner currently sits on the board and is looking for another term. Rick Lonju is a member of the community. He's been an active member of Little League, and he's been a coach, and he's interviewed the last time around. So those are your two candidates that's put in the applications. I have applications here. Didn't know if you wanted to schedule interviews, and if so, when.
So we have one seat and two applicants, is that right?
Right.
I make a motion, well, I would think that we want to set up interviews for the two.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's good.
Is that something we can do the hour
Before our next meeting.
Yeah, why don't we do it before the next meeting?
The 28th?
Yeah.
Are you available then, Christine?
2 weeks from tonight.
Six.
15-minute intervals?
And what was the date again?
28.
28. At 6.
I'll ask Mary when she does the agenda if she'll make it a special meeting to conduct interviews.
Is it?
That's all I have.
Okay. Committee reports? Do you have anything, Christine?
Good evening. My name is Christine Ford. Happy Valentine's Day. I just want to give you a little update on our meeting. We met on Tuesday. Our next meeting will be March 12th at 7 o'clock upstairs. If anybody's interested, please come. There's a new program I'm trying to put together. I have a help with a gentleman who lives in Sharon. His name is John Lamb. What we're going to do on February 22nd here at the gymnasium from 4:30 to 6, we're going to put together any of the kids and local kids from like 7th grade on to seniors. They can come and get their arms ready for pitching, catching, get ready for baseball season. So it's just something that we're starting. We're going to try it on this day, and we're going to try a couple more dates, but we're going to see who's going to show up. And if it works out, because I know the schools are going to start eventually too with this too. And he's eventually going to go up and help at the school too eventually. And I talked to Sam Bailey, and I'll try to get another program in here for the younger guys, for Little League and the younger ones to get their arms pitching and moving. And so we know the right stuff, the right moves. So that's just something new I'm starting. On March 1st will be my last movie night. We bought a zoo. Everybody's welcome to come. Doors open at 6. 6:30 will be the movie. Free popcorn, bring your own drinks, bring your parents, bring a zoo animal. It's a lot of fun. We have fun with a new screen. So, and afterwards, I have a lot of helpers now. I seem to have more and more helpers. I have quite a few young gentlemen that help out. I have, well, of course, my children, Thomas, Harrison. William actually does the popcorn along with Zach Klinger, and we have a new, I think it was Connor James was our new one. Every month I'm getting more and more kids wanting to come and make popcorn, and after they make popcorn, they come down here and play basketball on me. So I have to find them to help clean up. But it's a good time. On March 16th and March 23rd, we're going to have our sign-ups for our Farm League Baseball, which is ages 3 to 12, softball, and Little League. The fees for Amenia residents are $25 and $40 for non-residents. Our opening day will be April 27th at the park. On March 30th, we're going to hold our Easter egg hunt here. Everybody's going to meet at the gymnasium. Unless it's nice out, then we'll move everybody outside. 10 to 12. It's going to consist of course, our Easter egg hunt, which will probably be, about 10 minutes, for all age levels. We're going to have crafts. We're going to have a movie. We're going to do popcorn. And, of course, the Easter Bunny is the biggest thing, That makes it all, the Easter Bunny. I was talking to cheerleading, and they're going to be practicing on February 15th and the 22nd in the evening to prepare themselves for their competition on February 23rd, which will be at John Jay High School. They are planning on doing a fundraiser around March 8th. She wasn't quite sure the date and the time, for Friends and Family Night, and that's where you can watch the girls do their routines, and that should be interesting. I did talk to adult softball. I can't remember if I said anything last time about it or not. They are going to donate a pallet of lime like they do every year, do a work detail on top of when I do eventually pick a date when it starts getting nicer out and getting everybody out there before the season starts. They will be using the fields on Sundays for practicing and until after Farm League is done. Youth basketball is actually doing really well. I have a lot of kids that talk to me about it and stuff. Their last day will be March 2nd, which is a Saturday. I believe it's going to be more up at the high school. I just want everybody to know that, Chippewa has done a really great job in getting this program up and running, actually with the help of John Zenz, who's up there, the athletic director at the high school. And don't forget Sundays, they have the adult basketball here at 8 a.m. All are welcome. I know 8 is early for you, but maybe you can make it. I just want to also let everybody know that the calendar should be updated soon for scheduling of the Monarchs for the 2013 season. They will be practicing on Sundays in April and in May, the first 2 weeks in May. And their first game is going to be May 19th at 1 p.m. That's their home game. Another thing that we have coming up, Weaver Tech has a problem up there with their septic, and their third base has a little issue. So they tell me as of right now they're going to try to practice up there, but they are going to come down and use our fields for games, for the varsity, JV, and the modified boys games. And they'll all be at about 4:15. They'll also be on, the calendar. And the first game is set for April 3rd, is what I have written down. That's pretty much everything I have. You answered my one question that I was going to ask you about the interviews. So.
And the concession stand?
I haven't heard from her. I know she's away, but she was going to get in touch with Dawn. I don't know if she has. She did come in?
Has the forms.
Okay.
And I told her to enjoy her vacation because she was like leaving the next day. So we gave her the forms and said fill them out, and she said that she had been in contact with you. So we're just waiting for her to get back from vacation.
Yeah, we'll have the same person we had last year.
Yes.
Good chili dogs. Also, to bring you up to date, we did offer the rec job position to a young lady from White Plains. She turned it down. So what we will do is, I had Mary, we had some other people that we did not interview, so we're looking at those applications again, and we'll see where we are. One did email us today that she's from Pauling. She is interested in the job. So I'll have her send those back out to you, and then we'll take a look at that will have to re-advertise and start again.
Okay.
I was hoping she would I thought she would take it, but
Yeah, it's too bad. She was excellent candidate.
yep.
Yeah.
I did call her again, but she has not returned my call, so hopefully she'll call in a day or two. Maybe we can work something out with her.
Okay. Well, if not, I have pretty much have baseball. We'll be taking care of that, the farm league. Chip will be doing the girls' softball, and he said he'd help me if I needed some help there and stuff. It's going to go. We're going to make this happen, so that's what we do here.
That's great.
Yeah, good.
Christine, I really appreciate going through all the different things that are happening, because I think it helps the average person to realize that there is a lot going on.
There is.
And it's just hard for us to all, but I thought if we could type up what you just, I was handwriting the notes.
I got a few other things.
And put it in the hometown, it would be helpful at a glance to see
Another thing that I wanted to ask, though, because I know we did, it was given to me from Dawn, that she said there's a couple gentlemen, young adults or something, 18 and older, that come here during the day and they play ball. Can we open that up for, people to come in and maybe sign in, do a signing sheet with the clerk maybe? Or I don't know.
Yeah.
If they want to come and play basketball.
They are coming in and they are signing in.
So can we put it on Channel 22, and
Can others join, in other words?
and
They
then
don't have a set schedule when they're coming in. It's when all of the boys seem to not be working and they speak among themselves and
It's just a
they
pickup
come in.
game.
There's 2 or 3 days throughout the week that works best for their schedules. And sometimes you get 8 to 10 young men that are all
Yep.
coming in. A good group of them is also the Sunday group that come in. I found out this past weekend, it's the same group of, they're a little older than I thought. They're not quite 18, they're a little older, so I apologize.
let's say they're 18.
If they're watching TV. So they just kind of come when they all get together, and next thing you know, you have 10 cars out in the parking lot, and the guys are playing ball for 3 hours.
Okay.
So, I mean, if anybody wants to come in and no one's
Can I
at
write
the
that?
gym.
Can I send that to the paper too, and they can put
Sure.
it into the Millerton News?
Maybe a contact person.
Well, when they come in, they need to stop into the
They need
clerk's
to si-
office and sign
sign
in,
in.
and
That's-
it's an
Yeah,
open
that, as
gym,
long
bring
as we
a
know,
ball.
well, I just told them, as long as we know you're here and
Yep.
who's here, we're okay with it.
Yeah,
And
because
then
we're not doing anything
they've
during
been
the day
fine.
in the gym.
Been
is
no
there?
issues.
Not
They're going
right
there
now.
playing 3-4 hours.
You know,
It's great.
So it's great.
You know, if the
Needs
gym
to be
is open
used.
and available, just stop in the clerk's office. We have a notebook that they have to sign in. If they are coming, you know, during the week, they'd have to bring their own basketball. You know? I don't
That's
know
fine.
Basketball, you know.
And what do you think about like when there's vacation, spring vacation and stuff? And if the local kids here are here, can they come up too and sign in? And
Yeah, we'll be here.
okay.
It's up to the board. I have no problem with it. It's great to see them in here. But the building's here, use it.
There needs to be adult supervision for
Correct.
kids,
Yeah,
obviously.
for kids, yeah.
Right.
Right.
But I think it's great. The more it's used, if it's available, it's available.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Good.
Could we also squeeze in Ruben, because I think
Yep.
he's here to talk about some, were you gonna? Lawless workshop. Would that fit into under the recreation kind of report? You'd need to come up to the microphone.
Sure.
If
Thanks, everyone.
or you can.
I just wanted to give you a report as to where we are with the workshop. Sorry. Happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you.
Do you guys have any questions?
Could you state your name just for the record for everybody?
Sure. My name is Ruben. I am the director of the yoga, Amenia Yoga Center right here in Amenia. I started an initiative to get the community involved in supporting the young adults at Wibbetalk as well as Dover to qualify or to have the opportunity to attend and receive, have the opportunity to receive a scholarship for a week-long workshop that will take place this summer in July with Plavelis Dance Theater. There are a well-established organization that have been in existence for 42 years. What is impressive about them is, one, their community involvement. They have been in Washington Depot for 42 years. And they're greater than just a dance company. If you haven't seen them, please Google them. You can see a lot of information. They believe that collaboration is key to success. They also believe that sharing of ideas or relating ideas will better inform ourselves of our own idea, and it will create more of a democratic, cohesive understanding and community. So I thought to have Dover and Wibbetalk students to have an opportunity to qualify for a week-long scholarship by getting the community involved in creating the funds for that scholarship. So far, I'm happy to say that we have about 4 children. They're not children, young adults. Sorry, young adults. Anybody under 30 nowadays is a kid. When did that happen? Just happens. We have 4 scholarships in place. They are in place from local businesses as well as local individuals. I am very happy to say that Millbrook Bank is involved, Greenleaf is involved, Freshtown is involved. Of course, Amenia Yoga Center has been involved, and Harney's Tea is involved. Saravan Restaurant is involved. A couple of individuals from the local community are involved. Some small businesses such as Irving Farm in Millerton is involved. This is about showing how our community can actually be stronger than we think we are and how we can help the young ones in the community. My intention is to show these young adults that there is a healthier, better way to explore expressing themselves, and in the process finding their strengths, finding how to find their space within a team, and have an opportunity not to just find success in getting the basketball through the hoop, but finding how collectively they can come up with a common good for the team. In this environment, it will be in the workshop that they're experiencing. I spent the day today at Dover School for 2 hours during their lunch break, and the teachers are involved and a lot of the students showed interest. I'm hoping more individuals within our community will be interested in donating. So soon, you maybe see jars like this at your local businesses with, where do I show this? With just cards like this.
Yeah, we can.
Okay, good. And what, for example, Freshtown has agreed to do, as of tomorrow, Freshtown at every checkout stand will have a container, and your pennies or your nickels will go into that container, and those will be used to create a scholarship fund for the kids. As I said, we have 4. My goal is to have 10 by May, and yeah, I'm talking too much. Any questions? I'm really excited about the
It's
project.
March 2nd is when you're doing it here.
Thank you. March 2nd is, you'll see these flyers all over town, as well as Millerton and in Dover. March 2nd is a sampler program for children above the age of 14. The flyer says 16, but we figured that 14 and older can attend. It is not about dance. You do not have to have any dance experience. And even board members, you're welcome to attend. It's open to anyone who's over the age of 14. It's March 2nd from 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock here at the Amenia Town Hall. It would be held at the gymnasium. It's already on the calendar. I hope it will be on the March calendar in the hometowner. And Millerton News, Hometowner, as well as Millbrook. The 2 newspapers are definite. Millbrook, I hope, will be on board. They will publish the efforts of the community. So individuals such as organizations like Millbrook Bank and Freshtown, Saravan, Greenleaf that are involved in creating funds for the kids, their names will be published in the newspapers to show how the community can come together to help our young ones. Any questions?
No? Sounds great.
How would, I have a question, if someone were to donate and give you a check, for example, whom would they make it out to?
Very good question. The check will be payable to Plobolis because Plobolis is actually a non-profit organization.
Oh, okay.
And how to register for the workshop? You just send me an email, which is on these postcards, or yeah, they're on the postcards, ruben@ameniayoga.com, or just show up. Just show up. Kids that show up, or kids that do have an intention to show up. Thank you for that question, because it reminds me, Wibitalk, for example, on March 2nd has a very big performance that evening. So some of the students that may be interested in attending may not be able to come. However, if they're interested in attending, they still can write and say that they want to be a part of the pool of this scholarship. The students that are interested in getting in the pool of the scholarship, they just write a short essay as to why they would like to take the workshop and how do they think the workshop will benefit them. Then the essays will be collected, the essays will be sent to Plobolus, and the dancers, the actual company members will read the essays and they will decide. So it is totally, in every aspect, a collective effort of all corners of people that are involved in creating this project. It's move, evolve, and thrive, because movement can actually create new ways, especially for the young ones, to think and to thrive.
Now, are you going to leave some cards here?
I wouldn't ask. Yeah, they're here. The cards are all over the place.
Okay.
And hopefully you will see these jars with the cards. Please, if you
Well,
have
we
a
just
penny,
wanted the cards so that we could leave them out here. That's because we leave other
Sure.
cards for other
I have
events out
left
here.
some here, but also you may see this in your local businesses. Please drop a penny or two. Everything will be collected and all of the monies will go. If you guys want accountability, I will be happy to have one of you so that I can count the money with you.
Thanks,
Okay.
Ruben.
Sure.
Ruben,
And then-
does Plobolus have insurance?
Plobolus has insurance, yes,
So
and
they
every
could-
member that comes will have to sign.
A waiver?
uh,
Yeah,
I
sure.
hate that word,
It's standard.
but
though.
sure, yeah.
And
That's
you just have
standard
to, you just have to
paperwork.
stop at the town clerk's office and get a building use form and fill that out for the date, so we can reserve the date.
I did that
You
already.
did that.
You did it?
I did it with Mary upstairs, who was going to forward the information to the clerk because the clerk was not here, but it has been done with Mary, but I'll be happy to come back here and do whatever you need me to do.
All right, I'll ask Mary.
Great. And I also forwarded all of the information.
We should waive that fee.
Yeah, we would love
Should
to
we
waive all of the fees if you
$25
can.
fee is part
but
of
I'll
our
be happy
contribution.
to
So
do
I'll make a
that.
motion that we would waive the $25 fee for the use of the auditorium on the second,
Gymnasium.
the gymnasium.
And it's also important to note that Plobolus has agreed. They're really doing this. The fee has been so little, so it would be affordable to anybody that wants to attend. But if Plobolus can meet their minimum payment for the teacher, everything else that is collected will go towards the fund, will go towards the scholarship, not the scholarship fund. So it's, and I want to stress, dancing is not a requirement. Anybody can attend. Anybody is welcome to it.
Plobolus is an international dance company. We're talking terrifically serious dance company, and it is so fun. It is outside the box of anything you've seen. It's a mixture of gymnastics. It's very, very interesting and amazing to see what they can do with, I guess, ordinary people as well as themselves. They are fantastically trained dancers, and if you've never seen them, you should definitely go. It's one of the most amazing performances I've ever seen.
Another thing that's really unique about them is all of their pieces, their whole philosophy is about collaboration. Their whole philosophy is about how can we as a group create. So everything that you see is not dictated by a choreographer, but it is created by the dancers with the dancers. And they find ways to communicate and see how they can refine it. Yes, they are very skilled. Yes, they can do amazing stuff with their bodies and with each other, but what is really amazing about their work is they really are fascinated as to how they can work together to create something. And that is what I want to bring to our community, that part of Plobolus. The skill can be learned, but that I think is the most important component of their company. And they've been in existence for 42 years.
Can we get that on Channel 22?
Absolutely,
PR?
absolutely. We'll add that to the television and our website, your card.
Great, thank you so much.
Actually, should probably give the Poughkeepsie Journal a call too. They may put a little blurb in.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Plobolus is big.
It's a big
Oh,
deal.
that's great. Thank you.
And they're on your wall as well. I need, okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Beautiful.
I have a motion on the table. I need a second.
I'll second. You should give the Poughkeepsie Journal a call, because they'll do an article on it.
Okay.
So,
Any particular person I should ask for?
no, just ask, I think they have a public relations for towns, for local towns.
Kevin Lenahan, city editor, he does local.
Kevin?
Lenahan.
All in favor?
What's that?
All in
Yes.
favor?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's official.
Right.
Okay, I will give him a call tomorrow. Thank you so much for your time.
Yep. Thank you. Any other committees? No, water department, Marco's not here. I did meet with the water department last night. They're talking about raising some rates, looking for some more income for the water company. So they're gonna look at the water bills and so on and so forth to see where we are with that. Discussions will be Ridgecrest gravel mine. So we have you gentlemen are up next, which is an application for a mine. Well, you have the mining permit on the property on South Amenia Road. Mr. Capolino, how are you?
Thank you. Good evening. I'm Donald Capolino, Rothschild, Pauling, New York. I'm here with Ian Holdback of Ridgecrest. Ridgecrest has received from this board the designation of their property as a part of the soil mining overlay district. A couple years ago that was done. As you know, that's a discretionary function of the board. You have, we did this under your statute. At the time, we provided a generic environmental assessment form, and we provided also 5 site-specific studies about the site, including a biodiversity study done by your consultant, Michael Clemens. There was a visual impact assessment, a noise impact assessment, a phase 2 archaeological site evaluation, and a landfill closure plan, because on a small section of the site, not part of the area being mined, but part of the entire 143 acres, there had been an ash landfill that was used by the state facility, Wassaic, where they would dump the ash from their incinerator, and now that had to be closed. So as part of this whole project, on the remaining portion that's not in the mining district, they are closing that. A plan was submitted for that. That was approved on October 5th of 2012. On the application, there were footnotes, and one of the footnotes to the project site description, it erroneously referred to the date as October 5th, 2013. That's not here yet. It's 2012. Sorry for the typo. But so this was presented to the board. The board did designate the 65 of the 143.91 acres as being within the soil mining overlay district, because this is a unique property. It's pretty much surrounded by other mines. There are 3 other operating mines and that abut this property. There is then on one side the railroad tracks and out to 22, and to the south it's the Shope property that's then was part of and abuts the state facility, Wassaic. So then Ridgecrest Farms went to the DEC for a mining permit. That required a site-specific environmental assessment. The town, because the town, we have to come back to this board for a site plan, a special permit. Because of that special permit authority you have, a coordinated environmental review was done. The town commented on that. The DEC went through the entire permitting process. The environmental part of it was completed. They issued a negative declaration. So we are past the environmental review. And on January 29th of this year, a mining permit was issued. The mining permit was issued not for the 65 acres, but it reduced it to 57 acres. Because again, we were doing site-specific analysis then and meeting the requirements of the DEC. The DEC considered all of the comments made by the town. This is highly regulated site. They found 41 conditions that were specific to this site, along with 6 general conditions they have for all mines. They limited the hours of operation. They required evergreen trees to be planted in buffers. They protected, there's provisions for protecting water bodies. The topsoil and overburden is stripped and stockpiled to be used in a very aggressive and important reclamation plan. So when this is over with, and I think everyone's seen Ian Holbeck's former reclamations, and everybody's been quite impressed by what he's done. In this particular project, there is a fugitive dust reduction plan, and it's important to note that they're only going to be mining 5 acres at a time, and there is sequential ongoing reclamation as this project's going on, so that as far as dust and any of the other impacts are concerned, it's quite limited. It's important to note that because if this is farmland, and if it's farmed and it's open, the dust can be far in excess of what this particular operation entails. As I said, the DEC considered the comments by the town and a few other people, they considered all of the comments that were made. Only a few other people made comments. And so we're now back here for the final stage. I call it the last 5% of this, and that is that the town is then called upon in its ordinance to consider a site plan, a special permit application with the site plan that we have submitted. We've submitted 2 hard copies. We've also submitted a digital copy to the town attorney for distribution, however that the town wants to distribute it. We also provided an extra copy for distribution to the Dutchess County Planning Department so that you can transmit it to them. And I do have in my car, and I will bring it in after this, the maps that go with that so that you can transmit that to assist you on that. If you need anything else, please let us know. As far as the special permit application is concerned, your own ordinance talks about how you go about it. This is much different, I believe, than what your soil mining overlay district did. That was that was your absolute unfettered discretion as to whether you're going to put something in the district or not. You chose to do that based upon all the studies that were provided to you. And now you're to impose conditions on this consistent with the DEC's, under your own ordinance, consistent with the DEC's permit to make sure that we are consistent with the neighborhood character. The neighborhood here, as I indicated, is very unique, and this is the perfect place for a mine. You have 3 abutting properties, which are mines. We have surrounding the 57 acres, an additional property owned by the applicant that will not be developed. And then you have Route 22, and to the south, the state facility. So it is really an enclave and separate from anything else, and it is abutting county roads. So the road network is something not controlled by the town. It's outside of the town's concern about the impacts to any of your town roads. And you have someone here who has a record of, positive treatment and real sensitivity to the sites, as you can see by the reclamation plan. And this particular site will be reclaimed as we go. And so I think this is, it's a very positive. It is the model way of having soil mining done. When this is over with, you're going to have one large farm, and it will be, you're not going to know this because it's just going to be continuing to be farmed as it's going, with a 5-acre mine shifting along as they're pulling the much needed soil and gravel out. And as I indicated, this has been severely restricted and controlled by the DEC, reduced in size, and with all the limitations that have been imposed, Mr. Holback has been a positive force behind that and saying, I will do that, and has always been doing more than has been requested of him. So what we'd like to do is merely have the board, I know you just received this on Monday, I would like to have your town engineer review this. I would ask you to try to consider the scheduling of the public hearing that is necessary as part of this. And we are available to meet whenever needed, and we're here to assist to try to answer whatever questions anyone may have. We did not bring our consultants this evening because we know this is just the introduction, but we would like to start the process.
Ian, can you just bring the board up to speed as to what we have to do? Because we're pretty limited at this point as to what we can.
Right, well, you're limited to considering the special use permit and any conditions you would impose on that. Your zoning law does limit the conditions to those contained within section 121-17 D4, and there's A through D, the 4 conditions, and you're limited to those or other conditions that would otherwise be allowed under New York State law. What you need to do is make a determination whether you have a complete application, and if you do, you can schedule a public hearing. You've got to schedule the public hearing within 62 days of receiving a complete application. You also have to make referral to Dutchess County Department of Planning and Development because this is on county road, correct?
Correct, yes.
So you're required to make the referral under your zoning law. You're also required to make referral to your own zoning board of appeals. And then it's up to the board how you want to proceed. I would recommend that you have town engineer review the application. But, as far as when you want to hold the public hearing, that's going to be up to you as long as you're within that
62 days from today?
From the date the application is complete.
The third.
But we can have it sooner. It's on
We
the
did on
application.
You can have it sooner. That 62 days is a limit.
That's the limit.
Correct.
So we could have it sooner than 62
Can you
days.
send electronic version of this to our did you send it to our engineering firm, Soika Roading, Soika?
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, I have a copy.
Can you send that to?
I can send it to.
And what's her name?
Yeah.
You'll send her? Okay, thanks.
What's her name?
Julie.
Yeah, and they can speak, our engineer, Zarecki and Associates, they're welcome to contact Zarecki to get any details they need directly from Zarecki if they would like.
And is that okay for our engineer to speak to? Does the board have a problem with that, Ed?
No, I
If they
think we
can
need
talk-
to have them
Right.
look at it.
Do you want to schedule a public hearing in March?
Well, yeah, I think we need to know it's complete before we schedule the hearing.
You should
That's
make a
all.
determination
Yeah.
that the application is complete. I'm assuming everybody got a copy of it. I do have an electronic
Yeah.
copy, and I think
have a copy of the electronic, and
Okay.
Bill knew that the hard copies were here.
Okay.
So, and we do, like he did, we do have Dutchess County Planning's copy and 2 hard copies.
You'll
for
send
the-
that out tomorrow?
Send it out to planning? Is that a?
Again, once, you should make a determination that the
You have to make sure
application
it's
is
complete
complete,
first before it
and then
goes to
schedule
them.
the public hearing. Once you do that, I would make the referral to Dutchess
So
County.
when's our next meeting? 2 weeks?
February 28th?
February 28th, so we can have the determination done by then? Do you think?
As to whether or not it's
It's
a
complete.
complete application, it's entirely up to the board, but that's,
Resolution. Resolution.
Okay.
So the engineering firm?
there's nothing that prevents you from doing it now, if that's what,
Oh, you can do it now? We can do it now?
if you determine that it's a complete application, you could do it
But we
now.
haven't done that.
I've read it, it's, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's up to you. I don't know how much, whether you're comfortable
But
doing
does our
it now or
engineer,
not.
does an engineer need to look at it? To make sure it's complete?
It's probably a good idea to have the engineer look at it and comment.
Then we probably should wait to the next meeting to set the public hearing so that we're
Right.
sure that the application is complete.
One of the forms that we submitted was the escrow. We've signed it, but you have to fill in the amount of escrow that you require, and Mr. Holbach will give you a check for the amount of escrow that you need for to cover the cost of your consultants.
Yeah, I don't know where I stand with escrow yet.
There it is.
Still have some left over. Use it all up, but I can keep it on the shelf.
And then right here's your escrow.
Okay.
Do we have escrow left?
From before, I don't know what the balances are on any of those accounts.
You want to send an escrow amount tonight? We should, probably.
I have a check with me, just lay it out.
Is 5,000 okay?
Essentially,
All right.
how do we need?
Yep. Supervisor's fine.
Building fund, highway building fund.
Highway building fund.
This is set up, you also need a minimum. When it drops at the minimum amount, we set out.
He knows that.
And also set up so that Rhodey and Soika can schedule to look at it. If we have the escrow, we don't have to wait.
Right, we don't have to wait.
Yeah.
So you get that out to them in the morning, they can
Yeah.
take a look at that. And
I can forward the
All right, and I'll call
electronic
in the morning.
copy. I'll send it to Julie.
It's fairly.
And then at the next meeting, we can set the public hearing.
How much into the future, how much time do you need to set in advance? Do you have to set the public hearing? I'm just wondering
30
what your
days.
requirements are. How many
Well,
days?
Once we
I mean,
set it.
we've got to provide 5 days' notice, publish in the paper.
So that's-
But
yeah,
it
so
would,
that's-
the next meeting is February 28th.
Right. And we
So
can set it from then.
It would, I mean, it would need to, be at least 30 days. You've got, because you probably want to give Dutchess County
Time.
enough
So we're looking
time
at
so
the end
that
of
you
March.
get,
They'll have that tomorrow. The planning department, that can be sent to them, so they will have. So, I mean, if you choose to do it the end of March, your regular meeting in March,
I would think it would need to be at least 30 days
We have
from
to
when.
post it though, right, from the time,
Right.
we have to post it in the 5 days of notice. Right?
Correct.
So,
So to have enough time for it to be published in the paper, typically, you've got to set it 30 days ahead of time. That's,
all right, well, let's see what the engineers say in the next few days, next week or so, and we should get it, we can get it done.
Sure.
so then that would be the,
28.
right, and then
Yeah.
you would probably set the hearing date for the regular meeting in March.
Right.
Which is also the 28th.
Which is also the
Which is
28th.
also, okay.
That's what I was looking at.
Ian, do we want to deem it complete, though, before it goes out to the county?
I think it's a good point that Victoria raised that, oh no, before you, I would wait until the application is complete before you
Before we do
refer
anything.
it to the county.
Okay.
Because if there are any, if you need additional submissions, something like that, you don't want to have to resend it to Dutchess County. That doesn't make sense.
However you choose to do it. That's in your control.
Okay,
All right, thank you very much.
thank you.
Put this toward the new highway garage?
Yep. Here, Stan, you want to take? He's gonna add a couple zeros to it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that was good. Okay, thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Good night. The roof. Obviously, we have some leaks in our roofs. The gym roof is leaking. The two roofs here are leaking. So we've gotten some quotes. We got them the other day. So have you had a chance to review them at all? No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
Is there? Okay. There are three quotes. One is at $51,750. Second one is at $66,750 from, the first one's from PJ Exteriors in Wappingers Falls. The second one is from
Ultimate Design.
Ultimate Design. The third one is from
United Exteriors.
United Exteriors for the price of $81,656. This is for a remove the gravel from the roof and dispose. Mechanically attached tapered, this is what, the way we bid it, is tapered insulation, 1/4 inch per 1 foot to assure proper drainage. It fully adhere a Firestone EPDM membrane over the substrate, flash hole penetrations in accordance with manufacturer's specifications, fabricate new aluminum edge metal install and flash in, includes all roof related flashing and materials. They all come with a 20-year this one comes with a 20-year warranty. The third one comes with a 10-year warranty labor. The only question I have, Darlene, is the insulation.
They didn't say the thickness on the,
Right, on the original United Exterior said 6 inches, and that's what I had told them. But this one says we don't need 6 inches, but there is no insulation in the building. They came and they did a core test. They drilled through the roof. So you want to hold off until we get
yeah, the thickness of the insulation, it's the 1/4 inch pitch per foot, so depending on the length of the roof, to get that 1/4 inch, it's going to vary from roof to roof. It would be nice to be specific about
right.
how thick it's going to start and what the lowest point would be at that 1/4 inch.
Okay, so, well, PJ Exteriors obviously is the low bidder. Do we award that bid and then go back to him, or do we go and talk to him about the
Well, he gives the longest warranty, which I
also,
was
yeah.
impressed with.
And he's worked on the building
20
in the past, right?
Yes.
And
Yes,
and
he's worked here before.
the references, impressive list of
Right, the
references.
references are pretty
Yeah,
impressive.
5 pages.
So I would recommend going with PJ Exteriors, but just knowing what that thickness is
Okay.
ahead of time. It's the most reasonable, 51,750.
Can you, just in layman's terms, tell us that they, flat roofs, that's what we're mostly looking at, is the
We're
flat
looking at
roofs
the-
are leaking. They have historically,
Right.
we knew when we bought
It's
this
only the
building.
flat roofs.
It's only the flat roofs,
Right.
and this is going to taper it so that it. the
Well, what
water-
happens is they have, actually it's pre-formed tapered styrofoam.
Okay.
And typically it's a tongue and groove and they lock into each other and then they're taped. So you have a thicker part just to create
A
the
slope.
drainage.
Right.
You know, water.
That's our
will
problem.
run a
Right.
quarter inch per foot. So they're setting up that taper for the water to get off the roof. It
Mhm.
still looks like a flat roof. It's barely perceived
Oh.
as a pitch.
But it's a proven way of
Yes,
dealing
it's
with
sure.
these
typical,
flat
it's
roofs.
a typical
Okay.
specification.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
What we have to do, roofs.
we have to
I'm all
fix it.
for roofs and gutters and getting water away from the building.
Right.
The gutters we had repaired last year,
Yeah,
so that's done.
that's done. So this is the one remaining horrible
Right.
Yeah.
situation that we have to deal with
And we have the money
in the tri-wall.
in the tri-wall fund,
Yeah.
which we haven't
have to-
touched.
We have to protect the building.
I
Water
think
is-
we have to deal with this.
Water's the enemy.
I make a motion that we approve PJ Exterior's bid of $51,750 to correct the flat roofs. Make
I
the
would ju-
repairs.
just add, subject to a meeting with Darlene, so we can get the
Yeah. get-
Insulation.
insulation and the pitch as to what we're doing here.
Okay,
It's more about the pitch than the insulation
Correct.
value.
Right.
okay. Yeah, subject to Darlene's.
But we don't know how thick they're offering.
Okay, a second.
Roll call, please.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
The employee handbook is done. The issue that we had was taken care of by Jeff. It's in the, if you read the whole thing, it's all spelled out as to what we can do, what we can't. It's basically up to the board, the board's decision, discretion as to what we do and who we give benefits to. And how that goes. So I have a resolution to adopt this.
It's based on what he put it, he
Correct.
recommended.
Yep.
So I didn't see an email on that.
Do you want to hold off? There were no changes made in what we had. What we discussed about was done. If you read, what I brought up, if we
Yes.
read the next paragraphs, it's covered.
So a
they
part-time
didn't change.
employee would be eligible for full-time benefits only with the board's approval. It's at our discretion
Correct.
to award that.
Right.
So that's the only change that we're looking at.
Right. And the 1,200 hours, I think, is it 1,200 or 1,000? 1,200. That's in there. So all the discussions that we've had,
So anyone who's currently
getting it
getting benefits,
Is
who's
covered.
part-time, is covered.
covered.
Because she has the
She already has it.
authorization,
Right.
Okay,
board
Okay.
approval.
all right. No, we can vote on it. Okay.
Resolution number 8 of 2013, adoption of updated handbook, employee handbook. At the meeting of the town board of the town of Amenia held at the Amenia Town Hall on the 14th day of February 2013, 7 p.m., Town Supervisor William Flood called the meeting to order, and Councilwoman.
So moved.
Haas, seconded by
I'll second it.
Vicky Doyle, introduced the following resolution to wit, whereas the town board of the town of Amenia is desirous of maintaining an up-to-date employee handbook which details current and accurate personnel policies and procedures, employee benefits, compliance policies, and other pertinent information governing employment-related matters, and whereas the town board retained public sector HR consultant LLC to prepare a revised and updated version of the town's employee handbook that accomplishes the foregoing objectives, and whereas the town board reviewed the draft versions of multiple draft versions, I will add, versions of the said updated employee handbook and has made determinations as to appropriate content. Therefore, be it resolved that this 14th day of February 2013, the attached document be adopted as the official employee handbook of the town of Amenia, and further be it resolved that the newly adopted and revised town of Amenia employee handbook shall be distributed with signed acknowledgement to all town officials and employees. The foregoing resolution was voted upon with all councilmen and women voting as follows.
Supervisor Flood?
Yes.
Councilman Haas?
Yes.
Councilwoman Doyle?
Yes.
Councilwoman Brody?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mamer?
Yes.
Motion carries. You're not supposed to. I know, but I'll have everybody sign it.
Okay.
Sign it
For now.
for Lori. Exactly, it's separated.
Landfill financing, we had a conversation with EFC, the DEC, Liz Rovers, Ian was on the phone, the other attorneys. The financing date is, what was it, August of this year.
I think it was,
September.
August or may have been August 30th that you
Right.
have to,
Since we are not complete, the landfill closure is not finished, they are going to push us off for 2 years.
well, what they agreed to do was extend the short-term financing for 2 years.
For 2 years.
So if you complete the project in the interim,
We could be,
they'll put you on another
round.
schedule. The woman from EFC said that there may be another pool of funds that would close in November of this year. She was not certain of that. There will definitely be another pool next year. So depending on when the project is finished, you'll be part of a subsequent pool and then convert your short-term financing to long-term financing.
We did talk about, it's a little over 2 million and change, but we do have that grant of 1.6 million, of which they will allow 1 million. Once there is some more work that CT Mail has to do, then we're going to go back to EFC and see if we can get this other 600,000 and bring that figure down.
Additional funding.
Additional funding. And they also have the right to waive it. So
To, what do you call that? Forgive the debt?
forgive the debt.
Right.
So we'll
It's
see.
worth asking, I guess. right?
Well, I did ask.
That's
So
good.
it's multiple times.
Yeah.
So at this point, we'll see, because we're not done, there's some other stuff that the DEC, the conservation districts, conservation easements have to be set up and so on and so forth. It's how that's going to be done, and the DEC has to see that before the final thing is done. Then there's some more engineering that CT Mail has to go back after so many days it's finished and get that done too. So it's all, I don't think it's going to be done this year. I think Liz was pushing, but I don't think it's going to happen.
When are they going back in again, did they say?
April, May, depends on the weather.
Depends on the weather.
They've been there, they've been there working because they've had some washouts. So they're there working, putting up some more silt fences and so on and so forth. That's being done. So. We do have a group of, from the community, Berkshire Taconic Community Foundation and the Dutchess County Housing Authority. What they are doing is to, I'll just read this part of the first paragraph. We are fortunate to be able to offer several workshops for the specific benefit of the 9 towns and villages in the Northeast Dutchess Collaborative. on issues relevant to maintaining viable communities in these rural areas. For these workshops, Housing US, an initiative of the Berkshire Taconic Community Foundation, Hudson River Housing, is tapping available resources of the New York State Department of Homes and Community, the New York State Rural Housing Coalition, Dutchess County Department of Planning and Development, the Land Use Institute at Pace University Law Center, and the Women's Institute for Housing and Development, and the Hudson Valley Pattern for Progress. This initiative has financial backing from the Berkshire Taconic and Dyson Foundations. The target audience will be the general public and specifically members of town and village boards, planning, zoning, and housing committees. Input has been and will continue to be sought from the town and village officials regarding these topics. Continuing education credits will apply for eligible attendees. A schedule is being prepared for the months of April, May, and June, continuing into the fall with follow-up strategy work, sessions for municipalities and/or committees. So what they want to do is have the classes here. They'll be under the Pace University Land Use Center. There are, I think, 5 or 6, 7, 8, from April till June 18th are the tentative dates that they have. And I think they're working out some other times. So I just need an okay from the board if everybody's okay with having this here. It's a pretty important thing to have. All the communities in the area will be here. So we can.
It's a very timely topic.
Yep.
We're all in the same boat in this.
Yep. It's basically affordable housing and how to make housing available, buildings available, and so on and so forth as to what we can do. Future housing needs, types, and economic workforce and transportation factors. There's a lot going on. So
I'd make a motion that we make the town hall available for these basically affordable housing workshops for no fee, I guess.
I would second that. I think it's great that we're in the center of the area of need, really, and it is about housing us. I think their whole approach to the housing, who would be living in the housing is important. You know, it's local people and having ownership in a community. The concept is admirable, and I think we ought to support it.
a roll call, please.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And you say waive the fee?
Waive both the fee, and I don't know who the lead organization is. Is it Berkshire Taconic?
It's going to be the Berkshire Taconic, and it's also going to be the Dutchess County Department of Planning and Development, Ann Saylor.
Now, I would think that Berkshire Taconic has insurance that they could cover us for those series of workshops, right?
Yep.
So assuming
Do you want to reach out to them? It's Sam Bucell is our contact.
I'll call Sam.
All right.
Still have to do a building use form?
Yep.
Like everyone else?
Yep. I'd asked Ian to bring us up to speed with the Kent Hollow mine. He drafted a letter and sent it to us, which was emailed to you as what our next steps are, what the process is, and so on and so forth. Do you just want to bring us up to speed as to where we are with this?
They've apparently been mining the property, and that was discovered sometime in December, I think. John Fenton and town supervisor, I think a neighbor had reported it to one of them. In the meantime, John Fenton got a letter from Kent Hollow saying we took out, I can't remember the exact.
186.
Yeah, so they admitted that they're mining the property. I assume they're doing it because they're trying to establish that they are a pre-existing non-conforming soil mine and exist legally in the town. In order to do that, they have to continuously mine the property. They can't have the mining activity lapse for a period of 1 year or more. And I assume that what they've been doing is mining at a particular time of the year and sending the town or the building inspector a letter documenting what they've taken out as a way of establishing or documenting their non-conforming, pre-existing non-conforming use. The town has two options, or I guess three options. One would be to not do anything. The other two options are to prosecute the zoning offense by either bringing an action in New York State Supreme Court for an injunction, and that would be an order from the court directing Kent Hollow to cease mining activities on the property. The other option is to prosecute Kent Hollow criminally in the Town Justice Court, in the Town of Amenia Town Justice Court. There are advantages and disadvantages to each option. In this particular case, probably the better option is to seek an injunction in Supreme Court. An injunction, as I said, would be an order directing Kent Hollow to stop mining on the property. It would, the Supreme Court does not have the authority to impose a fine. All they have the authority to do is to issue an order to directing Kent Hollow to stop mining. An action, or rather a prosecution in local justice court would be a criminal proceeding. It would be prosecuting Kent Hollow for the violation of your zoning law. And the only thing the Town Justice Court has the authority to do would be to issue either a fine or a jail sentence. The fine is up to $350 per violation. Each week that the violation exists is considered a separate violation and subject to the $350 fine. And for a first offense, I think it's up to 15 days in jail. I've never seen a judge put anybody in jail for a zoning violation. My experience with prosecuting zoning violation, it's difficult to get judges to impose a fine that really is significant or significant enough to be a deterrence. The local justice court does not have the authority to order Kent Hollow to stop mining the property. They can only impose a fine or jail time. So, after you're done prosecuting this, if you do prevail, judge imposes the fine, Kent Hollow goes out and continues to mine the property. Your options at that point are to either bring another prosecution or to seek an injunction in Supreme Court. Generally, seeking an injunction in Supreme Court has a little more teeth to it. You can request what's called preliminary injunction or temporary restraining order, and that would be immediate relief, asking the court to immediately issue an order directing them to stop mining. And in this case, if you were to choose that path, I would recommend, that would be my recommended avenue to go, that you would request temporary restraining order, preliminary injunction,
But since their mining permit expired in 1998, right, they did not reapply for a mining permit.
Correct.
So in order to redo this, they have to come in front of the town board to start a new application.
They are not, the property is not located in your soil mining overlay district.
And they are allowed to take out so many tons or yards of gravel every year.
750.
Just 750.
That's without
A
a
permit.
DEC permit.
Right.
That's not without a
Town
town
permit.
special use permit, correct. So, depending on how you classify this, if they're claiming that it's a pre-existing non-conforming use, your code allows for a limited expansion of that use, but it's got to be with special permit issued by the town board,
Which they don't have.
which they do not have. Section 121.
So in order for them to do
Dash
anything else
27.
at this point, they have to come here.
That's correct.
So at this point, what are they doing? Are they mining?
According to them, according to the letter that they sent to the building inspector, they are mining.
But a limited amount of gravel?
A limited amount of gravel, again, I can't recall
About
exactly
half.
the amount, but it was less than 750,
Right,
It's like
About
400 and
half.
something.
something like
it's
that.
about
Yeah.
half, and it's only
But
February.
nevertheless, it's mining.
Yeah.
So your section 121-27 D3 of your zoning law does permit a non-conforming soil mine operation to expand, but only within the boundaries of the original parcel on which the mine was legally permitted, only to the extent allowed by an existing DEC permit or is otherwise provided by the laws of New York State.
Well, there's no way that they have mined their 400 and some odd tons legally, according to our law. Is that right?
Well,
From
you're...
the description that you've just said, unless they're agricultural or something where they can take some of that gravel out, right? Agricultural are
There-
exempt.
You do have a provision for agricultural use of soil mining, but that they can't take it out. It's got to remain on
What
the
is that
property.
zone has
Oh.
there?
The property?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure what zone it's in,
I think it's RA.
I think it's
Resi-
RA,
Yeah, residential agriculture.
but it's outside of the soil
But
mining overlay.
they're removing
I
it
just
from
wanted
the
to see if
property.
it was in an agricultural district.
Well, it doesn't
Doesn't matter
matter.
because they say they sold it.
It's
and
got to be
moving
your
on.
code. I can't, off the top of my head, I can't recall the provision, but there is something that allows agricultural uses to mine their property, but
I know.
they can't take it off the property. They've got to use it.
In their
on-
own
on their own-
construction
correct,
projects,
on their
right?
own
Their
property.
own issues.
So I don't think there's any dispute. Their letter, they are removing it
Right,
from the
they're
property.
driving it out, so they don't even comply with that. I just think, I mean, the soil mining overlay, we worked so hard on that to get it right, and it's just, it flies in the face of our zoning ordinance, and it needs to be nipped in the bud, and I don't know what the best method of doing that, but,
This is our most overt and clear violation
Right.
by them stating they are doing this, by them blatantly ignoring our laws. I mean, we know that there are people pulling gravel out around, but it's not obvious. I mean, I think that what we need to do is treat them like we treat every other zoning violation that comes before us, and not treat them differently.
Well,
the cost is
the
a factor.
cost is the factor.
Yeah, that's.
You know, it's 8 to 12,000, they're saying, and then the issue is, it's not gonna be something that's gonna be resolved in a year, it's gonna be several years, right? It takes more.
Well, a lot of it depends on how vigorous they defend the
Well, a lot
the
of it
action by the
depends whether
town.
we get the injunction or if we take them to a local court.
Correct. There's a difference there. The injunction would arguably be the slower process, although, as I said, you can ask for something called a temporary restraining order as part of a motion for a preliminary injunction. So that would be a way of getting immediate relief within, days or a couple of weeks.
But then you have to start the Supreme Court action?
Correct. And that, in my opinion, is a more expensive proceeding.
But
as
then
well.
when they're done, we're done, right?
Well, I mean, what you're going to get from, if you prevail in the Supreme Court, you get a judgment. And,
So the judgment could go on, it could,
that.
Well, they're going to fight the judgment. I mean, they're going to
Correct. I mean,
come up
they
with
could
reasons why there shouldn't be a judgment.
appeal, they can.
Sure.
So a lot depends on what their reaction is. I would expect that they would defend it vigorously and, I don't know what the costs are on their end or what the amount of revenue that they get from the limited mining that they claim to be doing.
Now, have they been served with anything at this point? I mean, no, I know not by the town, but other than the notice of violation. But have they been served with anything by the property owners who have also have an attorney of their own? I mean, have they filed any legal action against Kent Mining?
Not that I'm aware of. That's a
Kent
good
Hollow.
point. The building inspector did serve Kent Hollow with not a notice of violation because at that point it wasn't clear whether they were mining the property, but a determination of violation.
Okay.
So in it, he stated that if you do what you're proposing to do, and at the time he sent that, they had an application pending with DEC, which was later withdrawn. But he said if you do what you're proposing to do, you would be in violation of Town of Amenia zoning law, and he explained why.
So we've already taken the first step. We just need to
Correct.
see what the second step is going to be.
Correct.
But have the property owners taken any steps? Do we know that?
Not that I'm aware of. That is a good point.
I talked to them, one of their, I guess, board of directors of the Oblong Valley Association, is that what it's called? I believe?
Long Valley Association?
Yeah, I think that's what it is. They have not.
Okay.
So they were going to meet, and I don't know if they have met.
What they can do, if the town doesn't choose to either bring an action for an injunction or prosecution in justice court, the neighbors can send notice to the building inspector asking him to take, or asking the town to take action. And if the town does not take any action within 10 days, the neighbors can themselves bring
But without
in
them
action.
doing that, we on our own had him go and serve the whatever type of notice of violation that they've been served with. So we've already done the first step.
Correct, that's correct.
But has he issued anything since that letter we received?
No, he hasn't.
Could we do something that says you cannot, I mean, with the determination of the violation?
It would be a notice of
and then
violation.
A notice
right.
of violation, so take the next step.
You can do that.
At this level.
We held off intentionally for this reason.
Yeah.
Dave Everett, who the town retained to deal with the DEC permit part of this, he's taken the position that the determination of violation that was issued by John back in October, Kent Hollow had 60 days from the date they were served with that to appeal that determination to your zoning board of appeals. They did not do that. And Dave Everett thinks that their failure to do that precludes them from raising the issue that this is a pre-existing non-conforming use, a legal pre-existing non-conforming use, because your building inspector made that determination that it was not, and they failed to appeal it. So
it stands.
so that it stands. That's an argument that the town would have
In our favor.
in your favor,
Which would
correct?
help cut to the chase, hopefully.
Correct. If your building inspector were to issue a notice of violation, that 60-day clock would start to run again. So,
We don't want to open that avenue for
well,
them to.
it's something to think about, but that's the risk that,
Is
that
that
then they,
the required next step if we go to the justice court option?
I spoke to Dave Everett about this. He didn't think that you needed to issue a notice of violation, that the determination of violation would be
If it
sufficient.
stands,
Leave it alone,
I
right? To help us build a better
Correct.
Yeah.
case.
I would assume,
So the next step is either an injunction or court. Is
Or
that-
local
or-
justice court,
Right.
Or
to
nothing.
do nothing.
yeah.
Can I ask one, I guess, kind of silly question, but if we can go through the justice court a little cheaper route and get why do you think that we can't impose a decent fine? I mean, $350 per violation per week? Does that money go to the town?
It goes to the town.
And that sounds like good money for us. I mean, it could offset our costs.
We use it to
Yeah.
defend ourselves.
Well, it goes to the court, I guess. Does it go into general?
Well,
Gets
we
turned over
get
to
a
the
portion
town.
over to go towards the portions
Okay.
that's allocated towards the.
I mean, that sounds like,
If they pay,
If they
correct.
pay.
right, but if they don't pay, then they're just even further in.
Then they're in violation of the order.
Well, it's 350 for each violation.
Per
And
week.
each week that goes
It
by.
matches up.
Considered a,
Yeah, that's good money for the town.
I can only tell you my experience that judges are reluctant to impose,
Onerous
really
fines?
significant fines.
Why not? I mean, they're in violation. I mean,
You know,
You just
I
don't
don't,
know why.
I can't speak for the judge.
Oh.
I mean, my feeling
Well,
is
we can't
that
speak for the judge.
these are, when you're dealing with people
mhm.
who are the violators, judges are elected officials,
They're
these are
trying to resolve
constituents.
it, yeah.
And I think the judges are, right, the main concern is that you correct the violation.
Right, but the
And-
taxpayers of Amenia have to foot the bill. So it seems like a fine that imposes that onus on them to fix what they have caused the violation, not the taxpayers of Amenia.
Mhm.
Whatever fine it is, I would think that's better for them. I mean, I hate to argue for the scenario that you're not recommending,
Mhm.
but if I was looking at it from a taxpayer, I would say that person who's violated should pay their share, rather than the Amenia taking them to Supreme Court to have that, when it's a clear black and white issue. I guess I would.
Just to point out, my
Cheaper
other
route.
experience with, the judges in Supreme Court arguably are, have more experience with
You get a more
these types
fair.
of, and I don't
and
know
final.
what the judges here, how many zoning violations you have, but especially in a case like this where you do have a fairly complicated issue in whether or not this would qualify as a pre-existing non-conforming use.
It's not like a black and white simple case.
Correct.
It's got these layers of interpretation that the Supreme Court would be more suited.
I mean,
sorting
arguably,
out. Yeah.
I don't want to knock you.
No. I'm just saying that it is
They're-
where those cases
Yeah,
have
but
been
they'll
settled.
appeal it.
The judges hear criminal cases.
Right.
And,
This is
the issues here are, somewhat complicated. I can't speak for Kent Hollow, but I assume what they're going to claim is that they have been continuously mining and they qualify as a pre-existing non-conforming use.
Right.
So you're going to get into
Very complex.
factual issues as to
Documentation.
documenting how that.
And it's going to be expensive for them, it's going to be expensive for us.
Correct.
Even
Just
though
to
we're
add-
right.
Here's what I would here's my thought, is if you, Michael Zarin, who represents the Oblong Valley Association, and David
Everett.
Everett can speak and see where we are with this thing, and I'll reach out to the Oblong Valley and see where they are,
Mhm.
if they want to take this thing on. I'd rather see that, to be honest with you, but I don't
Is it
know.
possible to mount a joint?
Well, that's what I'm thinking,
Oh,
so
yeah, you
maybe we
did
can do
say
it,
that
we
was
can,
possible.
it is a
The
public,
neighbors can
Can
Get it
contribute
correct.
towards
a
this
public-private consortium or something or whatever to save some money, because unfortunately, this could go on for years. So that's the issue that whoever's going to be sitting in this board in 5 years could still be dealing with this thing. So that's what we have to be careful, but you do have to defend your zoning.
Absolutely.
I have spoken to Greenway, and the Attorney General's office represented the town of Milan with a gravel mine, but they were already in, that was a zoning change, I think, and that's what they did.
You had sent me some information, that's what that was. It had to do with adopting a change in the zoning law, not prosecuting a violation.
Yeah, it was different.
Yeah. So I brought that up to Dave Everett, and he, I wasn't aware of any cases where the Attorney General of the state contributed to the town's enforcement of their own zoning.
Right, they won't do the enforcement, but
And
if there's, right.
He didn't either.
Yeah, this is an enforcement issue.
Yeah, it's different than.
But in the grant, it does state that they will help us. But now, because there's no money, and the Attorney General's backing away, that they won't.
I think that was with defending, if someone were to challenge.
Our
the-
zoning
the-
laws directly,
the-
but
the
they're
zoning
not.
law, Right.
Right.
They
Challenge
are-
the adoption
They're
of it.
sort of skipping around a little
They
bit.
are not heading us head on.
And just to add one thing, you could do both. I don't know that you want to do that, but you could. You're not prevented, if you choose to bring the injunction, you're not prevented from prosecuting in justice court. They're two distinct actions. The justice court, as I said, is a criminal prosecution. It's for past activity. The action for an injunction in Supreme Court is prospective. It's an order telling them to
Decision.
stop.
Right. So that
Yeah.
sounds
Violent.
interesting.
So I think it's the attorneys have to have it.
Yeah.
I can do see where we are.
See what the most
Effective way,
of
right.
using our money the most wisely, yeah.
Correct. And obviously, they're going to have to pony up some money in Oblong Valley and so on and so forth.
They can.
Or maybe they'll take it on, I don't know.
Well, that's something we need to know.
Right. That's a
This
discussion.
point.
They are taxpayers, though, so
Right.
I wouldn't ask them to have to take this on all by themselves.
You're absolutely right.
Right, unless we go around to everybody every time you have a zoning violation, oh, by the way, could
Right.
you pay to
Well,
have
right
this
now,
done?
we're
Right,
not
we
going
need
to
to
do
handle
anything.
them the same way as everyone else.
What's that?
Right now, we're not going to do anything.
Well, we have
Well, what I'll do is
conversation.
I'll
Other than
speak to
conversation.
the other attorneys involved and.
See where we are.
Yeah.
And see what's the best course of, we do have the money in the budget to do this, but if we don't have to spend it, that's fine too.
Correct.
We could spend it somewhere
This is
else.
sort of a slow burner kind of thing
Right.
that we would go into a flurry and amass our things and then, like you said, maybe take over years, which we have certainly defended ourselves over years. in the past.
Just with Dave Connors, you
Right.
spent
And
thousands,
others.
and we're still going, and others.
And that's a
And
good
others.
example, yeah.
That's a prime
We got a
example.
judgment against him in Supreme Court.
Right.
He refused to abide by it. And, you know, your options there, you can go back into Supreme Court and seek to hold him in contempt.
I was under the impression they were working on a compromise.
I believe that they have.
Or they're if he agrees to it.
Yeah, he's got to agree to it. So, in an effort to,
The last one you wouldn't sign. We went,
Yeah.
you worked out an agreement the last time with him, and
Mhm.
with Michael Hayes, he wouldn't sign.
yeah.
So we'll see.
But you still have the judgment against him, which he's in violation of.
He has taken some cars out, so that is
Movement forward.
moving very slowly, but it's moving. The neighbors are upset, but it's moving forward. So hopefully they can come to some kind of resolution with this thing and be done. But I'd appreciate that if you could talk to them and then
I'll talk
get back
to the
to us.
attorneys
And I'll reach out to Oblong Valley and see where we are.
And I'll report back on the 28th. We should be
Okay,
able to.
good.
speak between now and then.
Thanks.
Ian, is the 20,000, is that a conservative estimate if they do
I think I
vigorous?
said
Is
in
that
the
just for
letter.
yours? Well, yeah, I know it, but I was just wondering, I mean, 15 to 20,000.
It's a lot. That's, I was assuming that they were going to defend this vigorously.
And that's just for your services in defending this? Or is
That was for the Supreme Court action.
And
So-
that'd be over several years, or you think that could hit all at once?
Um,
1 year, one fiscal year?
I mean, you know, Supreme Court
depends.
moves slower than your local justice court. That's one of the disadvantages of going to Supreme Court. Again, a lot is going to depend on how vigorous they defend it. You know, in Supreme Court, you have discovery, you could have depositions, document exchange. So that can push
Add up.
it out into, you know, a year, 2 years.
Oh.
Then they could appeal it.
Then it's subject to appeal, correct?
I was just asking because going from 9
It's a
months to 3
you know,
years, that's...
I'm giving you worst-case scenario numbers.
Okay, because I was just thinking when I saw 9 months, but then to 3 years, the longer it gets drawn out, I mean, it's going to cost a lot more. So I was just curious how conservative 20,000 was. Okay.
But, you know, Supreme Court is a much more involved process. You have to draft pleadings, summons and complaint. They submit an answer. So, you know, you have filing fees for the court. As I said, you have discovery, and that process right there is going to take 6 to 8 months probably.
But they may also go away. They may just
Again,
realize
yeah, I
when we
can't
mount
predict.
that kind of a thing, they may say, drop the whole issue, right? Or not?
That's
They
wishful
could.
thinking.
I mean, that's
No, I'm
entirely
just
up to them.
wondering if that's a possibility.
I don't think they'll drop it.
If-
That's just
if-
a gut feeling.
What is it, 1,000 yards or 750 yards? Because in any case, they've listed, in 2013, they've taken out 486, so if they're gonna take out more, they have to do it pretty soon. I mean, it sounds like it would be active.
You can mine up to 750 cubic yards without a DEC permit.
In a year, or in what?
A year.
time?
A year.
In a
yeah,
year.
Per year.
Okay, so
It's
they could,
$750
they
a year.
could, yeah, piecemeal it out, I guess. Okay. All right, well, let's see what you come up with.
Okay. You also have we have to buy plant signs for the planning board, for public notices that's put on the property.
And just to point out, sorry to interrupt, Bill, with the Ridgecrest Farm soil mining application for a special use permit, that is a major project, and they're going to have to get that signed as well. So that's something that is, at least with respect to Ridgecrest Farms, they're going to need right away. Once you determine the application complete and schedule a public hearing, they're gonna have to post that sign. Your zoning law says
Correct.
they have to do it within 3 days.
Right.
So just keep that in mind, that they may need that by March 1st.
These signs.
The big signs that have to be posted on the.
So we have the best prices from Graphic Design Depot, 1471 Route 22, Wingdale, for, are we doing 50 or
25.
25. 443.75, and then they are sold to the applicants pay for them, right?
Correct. That's
So,
correct.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the purchase of these signs so they can get them ordered tomorrow, so we can get them done.
Does that size comply with the?
Yep.
Okay. I would second that motion.
All in favor? Or,
Aye.
sorry,
Oh, hi. It's all right, you're doing a great job.
taking over your job,
Yes.
yeah.
Any opposed? There you go. Secret.
We have one other thing, is, Darlene and I had a meeting with Whitman Engineering to look at the electrical system in the building, to install a new, not to install, but to design the electrical system to
Oh, for the generator.
for the generator,
Right.
so that we know when we bid it out, it will be done and done to the correct way of what we have to change. They're saying the electrical system we have is in pretty good shape, but you have to do some electrical work, actually, with
We
the...
have to add amps, don't we?
No, we're fine with that.
We're fine on the building.
We're
It's
fine on the
kitchen.
building. It's the kitchen that we're gonna have to add more to.
I
We're-
thought if they had plays in the auditorium and had lighting, that we would need additional.
They said it was fine,
Really?
and I gave them the entire set of the building plans, as-built plans here. We already come underground from that pole. So the overhead wires that you see coming from that pole are cable and communication. It's not, there's already a conduit, so,
Well, that's good.
so that's the good thing. And, but the kitchen, I think we need to just fine tune the kitchen before we talk about adding, you know, how many amps we'll need for that. I talked with Mike Haggerty today, and, so I would like to take a little bit more time with this.
With this? Okay.
Yeah, before we finalize it.
Okay.
Are you still meeting with Leo and the other people?
We haven't set up another one yet. You know,
Okay.
we have to,
Okay.
with the kitchen,
The
kitchen people.
committee.
Kitchen people,
The kitchen
yeah,
committee people.
yeah.
Can you just explain about this underground storage, fuel storage tanks?
We
Are
have,
we, how could they possibly
We have it
be
already.
permitted?
The geothermal doesn't need the diesel fuel that we have. We have 50,000 gallons,
10,000.
$50,000 worth of diesel fuel. We're taking out one of the furnaces.
Mhm.
That's projected. So the remaining furnace is much more efficient. And the underground storage tank would supply diesel for the generator. So we don't have to add any underground storage.
Okay,
We'd just be using diesel,
all right.
which is much more
I just thought
cost
that
effective.
underground fuel storage wasn't allowed anymore, but
No, we have a 10,000 gallon tank here.
Yeah,
That's
we
underground.
have,
underground.
It's a
Yeah,
double
we
wall
have one.
tank. I think it's a double
Oh,
wall.
so it meets the
Right.
requirements.
yeah. So we
Okay.
don't have to add anything. It's using what we have
Okay.
more efficiently.
But for diesel, in the winter, don't you have to add some type of,
Well, it's underground, so that's not a
There's a
problem.
propane starter tank, a starter motor on the generator. I think that's what they do. There's something that starts it.
okay,
Yeah.
because I know
With it-
diesel can be a problem in the winter, so.
Yep. What was I gonna say? Oh, the one boiler has, well, I spoke to John the other day. Neither boiler, one boiler is dead. The second boiler's not gonna pass inspection either, so,
Really?
no. So, it's,
We thought there
the
was hope for
inspection
that one. I thought there was hope for
No.
that one.
so, it's gonna be another issue. And that boiler actually can be retrofitted. I think that's what they're finishing. That's what they're they're figuring on doing, correct?
That's a newer offer.
That's what John Harkness was saying, right?
Correct, that boiler would
Yes.
be retrofitted
Yeah.
With
and
some
used as a
industrial
backup.
parts that
Right,
we
new
is
bricks,
getting-
new motors, new whatever.
For a lot of money, right? It was like a lot of money. It costs to refurbish one of those things.
It's not that much. A new boiler is 200, there's 250,000 a
That's
piece
what I thought.
to buy
But
them.
refurbishing is cheaper.
But they're supposed to get the quotes. We haven't gotten the quote yet. We're waiting for this electrical thing. You got a letter from, an email from Peter Cascone that wants to do these, concerts here.
Serve alcohol?
But it's legal to serve alcohol. It's not a good idea, but it's legal to serve it. You can
On
do it.
town property, though?
You can do it. It's allowed.
Is that what Byron says?
Well,
It's true,
allowed by
you
law.
can, excuse me, serve alcohol on town property. It is legal. Excuse me. You can't sell it without a liquor license. Yeah.
Right, which he would
Um,
buy that.
And
Well, I spoke to Byron, you know, the insurance company's saying, don't do it. So,
Oh.
you know, that's an issue.
I don't see why he would serve alcohol.
Right.
First of all, the liquor license is gonna cancel out a lot of the sales. You have kids coming to, I mean, it just doesn't square for my,
Yeah, and I told him when he started
Sense
this,
of
I said,
the-
you know, the alcohol is an issue. I said, I don't know if that's gonna
Yeah.
fly. I said, you know, maybe
We
you
want
get a
kids
couple under your
here.
belt and see what's going on with this stuff. And I think that
and then we
would make-
need constables and all that. I mean,
You're gonna
we
need
don't
constables
want.
anyway, but I would think, because he's gonna have a lot of people here, I would think. But the, you know, the alcohol, I think, is probably gonna be more trouble than it's worth.
He's gonna have to front up a couple of $1,000s for an
I
alcohol
don't even know if you can get
license
a
for
permit
one
in time. You
night.
gotta get a day permit or 1 day.
He doesn't have
Yeah.
time to do that.
Well, you have to get, it takes 10 minutes to apply, but I don't know if you can get it in a month. I don't know.
It just seems like it defeats the
Well, the fire
purpose of a
department gets
fundraiser.
them, right.
If well, the fire department does it. But
They get a
this is a,
special
But they're not a municipality.
Doesn't
It's
make a
different.
difference.
Yeah, well, it does if the insurance company's saying don't do it.
I think we ought to start doing something.
Right.
Um,
I agree with
And
doing
I
it,
think-
but the
yeah.
alcohol, is gonna-
Hold off on that.
alcohol.
Yeah.
and doing it till midnight, I mean, is that,
And there may be an opportunity for a special event of some sort. Maybe, you know, a town-wide event that would involve the town hall as a performance area. That it would be reasonable if there were, you know, the fire company selling beer and other stuff going on. But I think we start off slowly with this. We don't want it to fail. We want to do it right. So if we
We'll
have
have
any-
to do it without alcohol.
Yeah, if we have any issues early on, it might set us up for failure on that. So,
Okay.
but I would like to see something get started. here.
Is everybody okay with moving forward with this thing
I
without the
think
alcohol?
it sounds like a great idea. I just
Yeah.
was hesitant about the
Right.
Alcohol.
lateness and the alcohol. I mean, I'm imagining we're targeting
Yeah.
kids, you know, and I think it's give a different message if we were charging for alcohol and all that.
Okay, I'll reach out to him.
March 30th. That's March 30th, right?
Yeah.
And we should say that he is welcoming kids to audition. You just have to get
Right,
in
it's like
touch
a battle of the bands, and they had a band here on Monday night
for auditioning.
for auditioning.
Yeah.
So I didn't get to hear them, but from what I understand, they're local, but they're traveling all over the country. So they're gonna
Super.
take
So my daughter's going to come on Friday at 5:30 to the town hall. We assume we can use the auditorium for auditions if it's not otherwise booked. Is that something that we need a building use form for? Or
This is
it
through Peter, with Peter?
informally? Yeah. I just said, what does it take to do it? And he said, let's meet at the
Okay.
auditorium. So I guess it's kind of like pickup basketball games. You
Yep.
just come and
Play your music.
make your time and
So
do your
how are you
thing.
having them scheduled? Because I'm not aware of this 30th. I don't have
March
what you guys are
30th.
talking
9
about.
to midnight, that's what he proposes.
It's called
So won't
It's
you
all
hear what these are
acoustic.
about?
Battle of the Bands.
It's the same
It's
day.
all
Easter Bunny still be here.
So if you reach out to him, tell him he needs a building use form, which
Okay.
is the first
Can you-
step.
yeah.
I think I told him that anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, I mean, scheduling whenever, just let me know so I
Okay.
Acoustic
Up to
Did you
on
not
the
get
summer.
that?
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
Recreation program, the
Dance.
dance. Resolution number 9.
Mean Your Free Dance Program, amount up to $470, County Duchess, program year 2013, comprehensive plan, yes, certification. I, William Flood, hereby certify that as Town Supervisor of Amenia, New York, indicated above, having been authorized through a resolution of the Municipal Board, do hereby make application of the New York State Office of Children and Family Services for approval of the projects described in the Youth Development Delinquency Prevention application on file with OCFS and the Dutchess County Division of Youth Services. In submitting the application, it is agreed that, 1, the municipality will abide by OCFS as to the propriety of all expenditures upon which state aid is requested. This project will be operated in compliance with the laws, rules, and regulations, resolutions, and codes of the state of New York and pertinent political subdivisions. No youth will be denied the services or facilities of this project because of race, creed, color, or sex, and no fee will be charged for the program supported by state funds.
I'll make that motion.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
Any opposed?
Thank you. Supervisor's report, if anybody noticed, we have a group of artists from the Harlem Valley Arts Group. Cindy Snow, a local artist, has hung some art in the hallways. So they did it the other day, so the public is open, to, I think they're gonna have a show, they'll have a show to a later date. But actually, it's some of the art's pretty nice. It's pretty nice to see it in there. So,
Those are all Hudson Valley.
all local
Harlem-
artists.
Harlem Valley artists? Okay.
Yep, all local. From Millerton, Amenia, I think Connecticut, Sharon, Dover.
Fantastic.
Yep,
It's
pretty
fantastic.
cool.
It's-
And there's more, I think there's more artists coming on Saturday. They're gonna hang some more.
Thank you for coordinating that and getting that done, whoever did that.
I talked to Mike Haggerty today about the different grants that we have going on. He's gonna make a proposal at the next meeting. We talked about the county program, consolidated services, and he was gonna check with them and see what we can do, what we can't do, if anything, and see how he can make that work. We also talked about the kitchen, to get that moving. There's some other grants available. NYSERDA grant, he's gonna call them, NYSERDA, to see where we are, if, what we can apply for this heating system, and so on and so forth. I just wanna go over we have some invoices that we have to sign today, but I just wanna give the public an idea of what goes through this office. For 7 cents, the bill from November 4th to November 30th is $283,731.89. CT Mail
I think you
for,
need to tell them what.
that's for the
7 cents.
landfill, that's the closure of the landfill remediation construction.
Right.
This is what we get billed a month. Is roughly 200, this is, for the November is 283,000. CT Mail's $200.94. The 7 cents for December 1 to December 29th, 2012. These bills are old. but we're just getting now $462,572.85. And there's another one for CT Mail, for the Amenia landfill, who's our engineering firm, is $125, is 13 is $24,751.71. So that's what goes through this office on a monthly basis, just for this landfill. We have to sign these tonight, by the way. They have to be paid. We get the money, but these are submitted to the DEC, and then they cut us back a check, and it's sent to them. And that's all I've got for my report. Town board comments, please.
There's a gardening workshop, the first of a series by, this one is going to be by Gretchen Hitzelberger. It's sponsored by the Amenia Garden Club. It's gardening, winter gardening, assessing what you have in the winter time. And that'll be here at the town hall in the auditorium. And I think it's at 2 o'clock on Sunday, the 16th. Is that right?
Dawn, we have to...
Sorry, Saturday. Garden lecture, 2 p.m. That's Saturday, the 16th, and that'll be on the television as well.
You do such a great job.
Okay, keep going. All right, well, I know Crazy for You is coming up, which is going to be a treat on March 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, and that Friday and Saturday, it's at 7 o'clock at the Weebatuck High School auditorium. And on Sunday, it is at 2 o'clock, and admission is $12 for adults, and students and seniors, it's $8, and it's to help them put on the Drama Society productions, which are outstanding every year. You shouldn't miss it, because it's really, really great. We have VFW breakfast coming up on Sunday, February 24th, at the VFW Post 5444 in Dover Plains. Adults are $7, seniors $6, children $5 that are 12 and under. Come and enjoy conversation and delicious food. This one's done.
No,
right?
February 16th.
Oh, they switched
was a
it.
snow
Okay.
day. We had a snow day.
The charcoal roast pork loin dinner at South Amenia Parish Hall was snowed out last Saturday for the storm. They switched it. I wondered what they were going to do with all their pork. But so it's now Saturday, February 16th, from 4:30 to 7 p.m. Tickets are $12 for adults, $5 for children, 12 and under. The very, very best dessert you've ever had is available as part of that.
Did you make it?
No, but I mean, it's
The dessert table is
unbelievable.
incredible.
It's outrageous. So we get the rhubarb pie that Althea makes, and she always has something fantastic available. So reservations are requested. Please call 373-9620-789-1206 or 877-3939. Takeouts are available. You can order ahead before 4 p.m. on the 9th, and that order ahead number on the day of is 373-9959. It helps pay for their building and maintenance and improvements. Looks like there's a St. Patrick's Day dinner dance at the VFW Auxiliary 5444 in Dover Plains, Saturday, March 16th. Boy, Saturday is a lot going on. Corned beef dinner, served 6 to 7:30 p.m.
Where's this? That's next month.
Oh, March 16th, thank you. So I was, yeah. Whew.
Where is that?
That's at the VFW. They are having
the auxiliary.
corned beef dinner, served
When is
6
that
to 7:30.
nutritionist going to be here?
Yeah. The DJ music is by Rich Yeno from 7:30 to 11:30. It's $20 per person, and you can call 877-6300 for ticket purchase information. This Sunday, February 17th, is the Amenia Fire Company breakfast, so come out and support your Amenia Fire Company. Do you remember how much it is? $7 or $8. It's like $8 for adults.
It's
So
seven.
attention.
It's $7 for adults. Children and seniors are $6.
Okay.
Okay.
And it goes from 7:30 to 11.
Then there's this great senior bus trip that is being put together by Mary Millette. It's the Westchester Dinner Theater to see Guys and Dolls. It's Wednesday, April 17th. It's $53 per person, includes lunch, show, and gratuity, and your transportation. Pickup times is 9 a.m. in the Freshtown parking lot or 9:15 a.m. Tally Ho Park in Wasaik. The deadline for reservations and payments is March 15th. You need to sign up at the town clerk's office with you, Dawn Marie, at the Tally Ho Park or the senior site, South Amenia Presbyterian Church. For further information, call Mary Millette, Town of Amenia, 373-8860, extension 105, or Michelle Samaji, 877-9430.
Lot going on.
It is. Never a dull moment.
I just wanted to announce something I came across in the Poughkeepsie paper about a senior exercise class in Amenia. The Dutchess County Office for the Aging Senior Exercise Program has begun a new twice-weekly exercise class at the South Amenia Senior Fellowship Center, and anyone looking to improve their fitness level is invited to attend. The 1-hour class is held each Tuesday and Thursday from 10 to 11 a.m. The center is at First Presbyterian Church, 229 South Amenia Road. Call the Office of the Aging at 845-486-2555 or toll free at 866-486-2555 or email us at agingservices@dutchessnewyork.gov for an application and a doctor's consent form.
I don't have anything.
For Peter Cascone, his event at the end of March, since it is a fundraiser that would benefit the town, do we have to waive it? What do we have to do for that? Do we have to waive the fee, or what is he requested?
The question is, it depends on how he wants to do it. If it's a town function, our insurance covers it. If it's going to be private under him, then he has to provide the insurance, correct?
And I would think he'd have to pay a fee for the use of the auditorium. I would think. We just can't.
I would think this would be a town event then, because...
No, I think there should be a fee for the use of the auditorium.
Well, let's see what happens with
Well, I mean, it says right here, the fundraising is specifically
For
to
the
pay
town.
for equipment
For
for
the
the town,
auditorium.
that the
Right.
town
I
would
think
own in the auditorium. So I'm sure he won't want to pay to
Right.
provide us with equipment.
It's for providing the town with equipment?
Yeah,
I
it
think
says,
the money proceeds would go
this
towards
event
the
would be
town.
held specifically to buy sound reinforcement and lighting equipment needed at the town hall.
In order for him to put programs on, right?
Or anybody
Yeah.
else.
That's a good point.
But
Or anybody
he doesn't
else.
take it
We
with
would-
him,
yeah,
I'm
we would
sure,
keep
like
the equipment,
lighting or
though.
any of that,
Okay.
drapes or...
I'll make a motion, we waive the fee.
I'd second that.
You should,
If the money goes to the town.
He's got to sign the agreement.
he should sign the license agreement, right?
So can that be done before
Yeah. He's had it.
our next meeting?
He's had it for months.
Okay.
Well, I think
Contingent
we need to
upon
wait
getting
then.
a
Right.
signed license agreement.
He'll have to, it has to be amended, because when I prepared that, it was only going to be the auditorium and the kitchen, and he's now looking to use the gym as well, I think, right? So it has to be
Yeah, he wants to use
amended
the
a
whole
little
thing.
bit.
So was there a fee as part of that license agreement?
Well, I think there would need to be, because then those would be events he's
Well, there's
doing
a fee or
to
donation
make
to the
profit.
town. So,
It's up to the town, you know,
Event
typically
by
there would
event,
be,
or
even if it's a minimum fee, you know, I suppose you could do it for just nominal consideration, $1, $10 or something like that.
whatever kind of fee. We'll have to work out the license agreement.
But he's a for-profit operation. I mean, this is a fundraiser that we're
Benefit
speaking
the town.
directly about, but after that, in the
Well,
future,
he has not done anything to move forward with that. This is the first thing that he's really starting to get involved in. But he just came to us a couple weeks ago and started this and said, listen, I can't do anything until we talk to the board. So,
Okay, well, why don't we just wait until the license agreement gets worked out?
Sure.
We can just go on from there. It doesn't sound like we're really ready to do anything yet.
it can happen fairly quickly, and hopefully it will. I have one more thing.
Are you withdrawing your motion?
Yes, I'll withdraw my motion. Arlene dropped off some paperwork today, and I'll read the speaker event in Eastern Dutchess. Greetings, everyone. As part of the countywide 2013 Heritage Tourism Program, we are bringing in 3 major speakers from outside the county. I would like to host one of these in Eastern Dutchess as part of the integrating of the entire county into the tourism center, or calendar. I am hoping that we can use this opportunity to plan a collaborative program between your organizations, Dutchess Tourism, and my office. The speaker in question is Dr. Whitney Martinko, currently a postdoctoral fellow at the Smithsonian Museum of American History. Whitney specializes in the study of historic preservations in the early republic, approximately 1800-1850. Her work has revealed fascinating perspectives on how our ancestors preserved the physical reminders of topics ranging from the Revolutionary War to ancient Native American sites. I think her presentation will be a big draw, especially in the preservation community, since it will shed some lights on those roots. We plan to sell tickets to this event to offset the program costs and hopefully generate some seed money for county-level heritage tourism initiatives in 2014, which will support your organizations. We need a venue that is historically themed and which can sit 50 to 100 people comfortably. Electricity and other conveniences are a plus. We are looking at a range of dates from April to June for this event, though I'm trying to push Whitney towards the later end of that spectrum. I would very much like to tie into an event that is already planned for being planned for Eastern Dutchess. I know the Historical Society of Quaker Hill and Pauling is planning an exhibition on Quakers to run something during the summer. I think Whitney's presentation would match well with that event, though I realize that the exhibition is not set in stone yet. I also know that the Irondale Schoolhouse group is planning to move the building sometime during that period, but this date is also not set. These are sorts of the programs I think would be a great opportunity for partnering. So does anyone have a venue that will seat 50 to 100 people? Does anyone have an event planned that will provide a good tie-in in one site or another? We can offer a venue and other can run a partnering event. Everyone else should provide volunteer staff, assist with logistics, and join forces to raise donations for the event. It would provide an excellent opportunity to gather a large crowd in one spot and tell them all about your programs, a captive audience, if you will. Please let me know what you think. Thanks to Dutchess County, Dutchess Tourism, great work. We are primed for an excellent 2013 Heritage Tourism season. I want to see the entire county benefit from that opportunity, and for all of you and your organizations to know that supporting Eastern Dutchess is a major priority. Arlene would like to offer the town hall for that use, and I think that's something we should do. I don't know, when is the Strawberry Fair?
June 8th, I think.
The first Saturday in June, is that right? Let's see, June.
Is it the 1st or the 8th?
But anyway, I'd like to let her use it, the town hall, so at least offer it for, it'd be great if we get them out here. And that's all I've got. I'll make a motion, we adjourn the meeting.
I have one question. That is, do you happen to know if the trash got emptied
Yes.
on the thing? Okay, so thank you.
Oh,
I did that one.
Do you want to second?
I'll second that adjournment motion. All in favor?
aye.